Misfit Toys.
This podcast is supported by Progressive, America's #1 motorcycle insurer. Everything is more exhilarating when you're on your motorcycle. Just like your bike is more protected when you choose Progressive Motorcycle Insurance. They offer coverage for your bike starting as low as $75 per year. And they keep things affordable with discounts like paid in full, multi-policy, and responsible driver. So, raise your kickstands and get to quoting at Progressive.com to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Premium is for state minimum liability coverage and excludes state fees and taxes. Rates not available in Massachusetts. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Aptitude, expertise, genius, gift.
I'm the fucking talent. Are you starting or am I?
Am I supposed to go?
I don't know. I think I'm supposed to go. All right, hold tight. Hey, what's happening, Mike Schmidt, 40-Year-Old Boy podcast. I will tell you this is the third time we've recorded this, and I changed it because I chili dipped the fucking opening. And both times I look at her and I go, stop, I got to redo this. And she's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And I'm like, I don't know. I just want to go ahead and make sure it's a clean open. Now, and look, now she's hunkered down. She's actually left. Lily's not even here for any more of these shows.
Here.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you, people, for coming in here. Episode 2 of year 14, which seems, man, that's a lot, right? That seems, let's do the math on that. If we got 13 years at 52, 13 times 52 is 520, and then 156, so that's 676, and then this is 678. This is episode 678, not counting reruns and other things. Let's not count those. Let's actually, with 676 episodes, I think we've done 515 reruns. So we take those right out of there.
True.
We take those right off the top. You know what? This is our 100th show. Thank you for showing up. I'm glad you guys are here. It's episode 2 of year 14, but it's our 100th overall show. It's an anniversary, folks. Let's clap it up. Whoa, hold on. Oh, I'm sorry. My computer just sent me a message. You know, I have a printer here at my house. It's a Bluetooth printer.
Ooh.
It won't find my computers. So every time I go to fucking record or print something, it says searching for printer, which it sounds like a Leonard Nimoy show from the 80s, but it's not. And it can't find it. And then I went in yesterday because I had to print something, fucking unfortunately. And so, and again, I print something 3 times a year. Like it's not like this thing where I'm like, oh my God, I'm printing all day long. What am I, I'm not Milton from Office Space. But at the same time, I've got it in the other room. It's in my bedroom, the printer, which is absolutely where you want it to be. That's because most of your important documents you get while you're reclining in the sack. Hey man, I'm going to hit the rack and then pick up some crucial documents off my printer. But it just worked out that way where it went in there because I was like, and also I think honestly, when I bought it, I was like, the novelty of having a Bluetooth printer, I was like, I can put this anywhere. Fuck, I could put it in the bedroom if I wanted. And then I went, hey, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put it in the bedroom. That sounds like a really good idea. And then, no, not a good idea at all. Clearly a terrible idea, quite frankly, because now it won't, and I don't even know, look, I could move it into the living room, which is a stretch living room. I've got an apartment. It's 2 places. I have 2 places. I have bedroom and not bedroom, quite frankly. And half the time I'm sleeping in not bedroom. So it's in a fight for a death fight with bedroom for the title. Couch room. How about that? Bedroom and couch room. I sleep in both. But I'm sure if I put it in here, that would be a problem because sometimes even my Bluetooth speaker gets spitty and I don't fucking like that at all. I'll go to play, like I play music when I'm in the shower or whatever. Oh, and by the way, I got fucking bamboozled today by my speaker and my Spotify. They're in cahoots. I think they're in cahoots, ladies and gentlemen. I think my Spotify and my speaker are in cahoots to pull the wool over my eyes or my ears, as the case may be, since it isn't a listening audio device. Normally, here's what I do. I'll pick out, I have playlists that I'll play to go into the shower. And as you know, my rule, I have to shower until a good song plays. And I can't get out of the shower unless it's a song that is equated to starting my day, a good day to start or a good song to start my day with. All right. Because if it's like a funeral dirge or something, I can't do that. I can't get out of the shower with that because that's just putting a bad note on the rest of the day. I'm now greeting the day with some horrible funeral dirge or death metal or sad ballad. And I can't do that. I have to make sure it's some sort of, it has to be happy and peppy and bursting with love. It has to be something upbeat, correct? You do the same thing. Am I right?
No.
Anyway, you should do it. Everybody should do it this way. And it has it caught me in the shower sometimes for like 18 minutes? Yes. Did I take a 22-minute shower once? I did. And you're like, those are oddly specific numbers. It's because I look at the clock before I go in the shower, so I know how long my shower was that day, according to whatever songs I listened to and how long I got trapped for. It's a long story, folks. I'm a weird person. But today, my Spotify, in cahoots, what's the word? Not combined. What's the word? Conspired. It conspired with my speaker.
I like conspirial.
Yeah, it could be conspiraling. I'm in the shower, and here's the playlist I'm playing today. I'm playing a Frank Ocean playlist. I want to play some Frank Ocean. I listened to, with fucking amazing work. He's an incredible guy. I understand he had some problems at Coachella this weekend, which did not go well for anybody.
No,
supposedly he popped in. I think he did like 2 songs and split or something like that or whatever. I don't know what it was. But folks, pop stars are mercurial. Do you understand that? They're mercurial, and you never know what they're going to do. That's the way it works. You go to a show. If you think about it, up to this point, we've been lucky. Performers have performed as much as they have for us. Like if you went to buy Guns N' Roses tickets, again, you didn't know if they were ever going to take the fucking stage. That was the heyday. That was the heyday of rock, and that's how it is with Lauryn Hill. People buy tickets for Lauryn Hill. And then they're at the end, like they have beards by the time she comes on stage because that's who she is. And there's nothing wrong with that. I say we give these people more credit. I say we let them do this. This is baked into the ticket price. The experience of being able to bitch for a year about how Lauryn Hill was late. That's what people really want. Nobody wants to see fucking Lauryn Hill sing. They want to tell the story of the time they were there and Lauryn Hill came in when everybody was napping and did songs that didn't wake anybody up and then slipped quietly out the back without anyone noticing. That's the story right there. And so I guess Frank Ocean at Coachella showed up and people weren't happy. But also, look, fuck you. If you're at Coachella, you're not happy at all anyway. You know why? Because you're ankle deep in fucking mud and getting baked by the sun and eating fucking funnel cakes in the daytime and you're sick to your stomach. Look, dude, if you've been eating Molly and funnel cakes all fucking day, you should be happy anybody gets on stage. Who the fuck is out there in a dirt field going, well, this Frank Ocean performance is not up to my standards. Up to your standards? Holy shit. You're wearing one shoe. You lost some shit earlier in the day, motherfucker. God damn, you ate some fucking sun-baked pork and you vomited behind a porta potty. Oh. Good Christ. Your ass right now smells like 1,000 asses because you went and used the porta potty used by 1,000 people before you. How gross is that? And yet you have the fucking temerity to judge a Frank Ocean for what? Look, if you've been to Coachella, it's dirty, it's hot, it smells, and you can't blame for Frank Ocean wanting to get in and out of there. He's like, God damn, there's porta potties here. We're up the chopper. We're out of here, man. He comes in, does one fucking song, and he flies out. You have thoughts. I saw you had thoughts. You leaned in.
I watched like 4 videos of all the tents flying away.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm like, there's a million reasons not to go to Coachella.
Any festival you attend, believe me on this. Any festival you attend is like Vietnam, but Blink 182 reunited. That's all it is. Every fucking festival you attend.
It's brutal.
Yes. It's like, imagine if you were in the jungles in Korea and somehow Daft Punk showed up. That's what any of these fucking festivals is. You wade out into a rice paddy and you hope you don't die from exposure or some random bullet thrown your way from a villager as you wait patiently for Blackpink to take the stage. Please. You don't get it. You don't get to bitch, man. Right? That's what these festivals are. That's all it is. It is a police action headlined by several fucking bands. That's it. That's all it is. And so these people were pissed at Frank Ocean, and in my brain I'm just like, Frank Ocean he should be cuddled. He should be hugged. He should be held. Give Frank Ocean whatever he wants. He's a joy. He's a gem. He's someone that we should all go ahead and send good thoughts and money to forever, because Frank Ocean is a good person who's a fantastic artist, and he's the best of us. Frank Ocean is the best of us. You might say it's Paul Rudd. I won't argue with you. You could say it's Dolly Parton. I could see that. I'm going to throw Frank Ocean into the mix. He's an angel on earth.
I can't name a Frank Ocean song right now.
Well, then I'm here for you right now. Let's talk about this.
Because all I'm thinking of is robbing banks in Vegas when you say Frank Ocean.
Stop. No, that's our friend Danny. That's Daniel Ocean.
I know, but I literally am blank at who Frank Ocean is.
All right. Well, I will tell you this. All right, because this plays into exactly what I was playing on the old Spotify list today. All right. One of the songs I have on my, although you're going to be mad at this, I know of all people I shouldn't tell you about this because you're going to be angry. Frank Ocean. Of course, tons. He's only got like 3 albums. And he's also one of those dudes who's threatening constantly to put out new music. And then all of a sudden he'll put out like a ringtone and everybody's like, oh my God, Frank Ocean's back. And then he's not. Clearly he's not. What?
I don't know who he is. I'm sure that when you say it, I'll go, oh yeah.
You will not.
But
you will not.
Literally like, I don't know who that is.
No, he had an album called Channel Orange, which is fucking brilliant. He wrote, all right, I will tell you this. He wrote a song, and I talked about it on this show years ago. When Django came out, Django Unchained, he did a song for the soundtrack that Tarantino wound up not using. Okay.
Why? I don't know it.
Yeah. It's funny. You know where I put this? I put it on Rock Solid. When I was on Rock Solid, I discussed this because I was on a Tarantino episode of Rock Solid with Pat. And Pat, he's like, bring 4 songs, and I bring 40. And I'm like, look, just play a snippet of each, because there's a story I got to tell you. But the song by Frank Ocean is called Wise Man. And when Django was coming out, it wasn't on the soundtrack. And I think it may have been a couple days after the release of the film, I believe, he put the song out on his website. And all he wrote was Django was ill without it. So he was like, he loved the movie anyway, but he wanted to share the song. And then you hear the song and you're like, I can think of 10 scenes it should have been in fucking Tarantino's movie. And I'm not saying Django isn't brilliant and amazing, but if this song had played at certain spots where he played other songs, it would have been fucking insane. It's when we finish here, you can go listen to it and you'll be like, oh my Christ, that's an amazing song. Or you might hate it. Who knows? So everybody go find Wise Man by Frank Ocean. I don't even think that's on Spotify. I still think it's a YouTube and one of those things you got to find online type of deals. Cause I think he put it on SoundCloud is where it was when he released it. Cause this is, a million years ago before anything like that was happening. So, so that's a song. And that was, he was on my radar before then, and I'd listened to some of his stuff, but then when I heard that song, I was like, fuck. And then I deep dove into him, right? Now, look, I'm not going to pretend I know his whole catalog. I'm not going to pretend I'm like the guy who loves everything, but I've listened to the albums and I love them, and I made a compilation playlist of the stuff that I loved. There's like fucking 12 songs on it. But then there's a song he has, and this was the song that was playing today, all right, that I played. It kicks off the playlist. Frank Ocean put out a song called American Wedding. And the song is, and this is why you're going to be mad. Now, rein yourself in. Don't shriek to the high heavens. Don't be angry. Go ahead and hear me out first.
Okay, I'll hear you out first.
And then when you hear the song, you'll be like, okay, I understand where Mike is coming from. Because I will concede your points before you even shout them at me. All right? Because I understand you're going to be right in what you say. Because I also feel the way you do sometimes. And yet, this piece of art, this brilliant composition, supersedes any and all rules that came before it, in my opinion. Okay. American Wedding is a song about a young couple that elope, and they go to a courthouse, and then they get married. And then she decides she literally uses the words like, hey man, this was a crazy summer. We should probably get this annulled before this goes too far. And meanwhile, they have tattooed rings on their fingers. And he's like, so that's the thing. American Wedding this is how it is. It's disposable. That's kind of the message behind the song. And then there's this, oh my God, then there's this break, and he says, you can have my Mustang. It's all I got in my name. This wedding ring won't wipe off. It's fucking, it's so sad. Like you can hear him be devastated in the middle of the song because he thought it was real, and she thought it's just like a lark. Let's run and go do this. But now here's the part where you're going to go ahead and simmer over to a boil. It is a brilliant song. And again, like I said, the words are all about a couple who gets married, and then the woman it uses the whole music track of Hotel California as the song. He raps over Hotel California with the vocal gone. And it's literally from the beginning, the guitar intro. It's the actual, it's not like he had a band recreate it. He literally took the Eagles song and Henley's gone. And he raps in the actual on the, and it fits. It's brilliant. It's amazing.
I actually find that really interesting.
What?
I don't know that I would be like, it's the greatest thing ever, but I find it really interesting. There's a guy I follow on TikTok right now that has taken, Little John from the Windows to the Walls and put it to like The Sound of Silence and put it to all of these others and how it lyrically fits within the music. And
right?
I find it fascinating.
Okay,
so
good.
I find that fascinating. I'm not angry about that. I don't know that I would like it, but I find it fascinating.
Well, you know who didn't find it fascinating?
Hotel California.
Don Henley and Joe Walsh did not find it fascinating at all.
Eagles.
And they came along with a cease and desist written on the back of $1,000 bills that they sent to him and his management, and they said, you got to fucking lose this right away. Like it's you got to stop, because this song is from years ago. Okay, It wasn't a recent thing, and so it's another one of those that just exists online. Like he pulled away. It was never on a release. It was never on an album.
But it got out there.
Of course it got out there. Yeah. And it's so good. And like I said, I know people who still hate rap or hip hop or sampling and all that stuff. See, I thought you would be against it because you guys were notoriously against Napster and.
Well, I'm against
Napster.
I'm against stealing music. I assumed he would have licensed that. Like the guy that's doing this, it's just a series of comedic, 15-second bits of,
sure. Just enough
from
to stay
the
off,
window to the wall, and you just laugh,
just enough to stay off ASCAP's radar. I get it. Yeah. No, this is a full-on 8-minute song, and it is the music of Hotel California from the beginning to the end. He even has the solo. He leaves the solo in. It's fucking brilliant, and then it ends with this little sing-songy rap that he does. That when the music fades, and it's just it's so fucking neat. It's so sonically interesting to me, because again, I'm predisposed to love Hotel California. I don't want to hear your Eagles bullshit. Everybody get off my dick. The Eagles are fucking great. Take your Lebowski shit walking. I understand everybody let that form their personality, but I saw the fucking Eagles live. I
think they're awesome.
They're dude live. They're fucking. I don't even know how they did this. All right, I have no idea how they did this, but somehow the Eagles had 15-part harmony. I don't even know how that's possible. There's 9 guys in the band, if that, and somehow there were 6 other bonus vocal tracks. I don't know if there's a. You know what I think it is? I think the late Glenn Frey had 2 epiglottises. I think he perhaps he had a couple of epiglotти. He had a couple of epiglotти, couple of throats. And Glenn Frey was able to do, it was almost like that throat singing from fucking New Zealand. Yes, but his is of beautiful harmonies that are as pleasing to your ear as ice cream is to your tongue. That is how Glenn Frey made it work. I saw them live and they were astonishing. Like I could not, because when I saw them, they're 90. All right, so this is still Glenn Frey's still around. And we went, and I wanted to see them because again, I like their music. I do, but it was one of those things where it's like, I got to just, how, look, man, you got to collect them all. It's like a Pokemon. I got to see all the famous bands before they die. So it wasn't like I was dying to see Eagles, but a friend of mine was like, I think Pat it was, and he was like, hey man, you want to go? I said, sure. And I sat there fucking transfixed. And I think I've talked about this on here before. The thing that I found amazing when they did it, and again, this is when it was the full lineup. They had, it wasn't, nobody was dead already and they filled in with their kid or whatever the fuck, or Vince Gill. Yeah. Because that's the deal now. Vince Gill is in, and so is it fucking Fry's kid or somebody's kid is in there?
I don't know.
I don't know. But the thing that was really amazing, in addition to the music and the presentation and all that stuff, they had video screens. And they ran these videos during certain songs that were home movies of the early 70s with them on the beach or in these beach houses and stuff. And imagine if you had the Big Chill, all right?
Yeah.
But you had Fleetwood Mac and fucking Big Brother and the Holding Company and Eagles. They were all just hanging out, barbecuing and on the beach. And you're just like, what the fuck, man? I mean, just the amount of talent in that room or on that, and they're partying, they're just hanging out like in the canyon and shit. And you're like, oh my God, dude. Like just the creativity that must have been flowing out of those things. Oh, and also, look, they might have all just gotten high and ate ribs and fell asleep. I don't fucking know. But just to have that gathering of people in that space is just astonishing to me when you see it, you know, so yeah, I thought it was amazing. But I've seen them. I don't want to hear you yell at me and be like, "Oh, Eagles, they suck, dude." It's like, I'm fine. If you don't like them, that's great. I've evolved. Nobody sucks. All right. If they're not for me, they're not for me. You might like them. That's cool, but it's not for me. But Eagles, you know what? For me, absolutely for me.
I know who did put me in, Coach. Was that which
Fogarty.
one of them? Fogarty.
Fogarty.
Okay, I saw Fogarty on tour with that.
I hate Creedence.
Well, that's okay, but I think
I know, but I was playing off the fact that I just said I don't care about it anymore.
I know it's fine.
Right.
It's fine. I want to say I saw the Eagles perform like way back when with my sister Nancy.
Really?
I cannot remember for sure.
Well, what's way back when?
Late 70s, early 80s.
Oh, Christ. Okay, so back then.
Because I was like a kid, and my sister Nancy used to babysit me with her husband. And I know that there were like 3 concerts we went to, and I was like barely old enough, and I had just gone to my first concert. So it was like probably my 3rd or 4th concert. And I want to say it was the Eagles. And then in the 80s, I just went to concerts every weekend because, you know.
Yeah, but also didn't Don Felder took you to your 8th grade dance, right? Is that correct?
No.
I think that's a possibility.
No.
I think that could have possibly happened.
No.
Might have been Timothy B. Schmidt may have taken you to your dance.
I don't want to tell that story. Never mind.
Well, you know what? I can't tell you why you would turn down Timothy B. Schmidt if he asked you to go to a dance. I would be in.
I didn't go to any dances with rock stars, but I do have some stories.
Well, and again, those are for
Lily
your book.
has a past.
Is that's for your book? If I remember, because I've often prodded you, and you're like,
the only one I ever talk about was I went water skiing with Roger Daltrey, which was amazing. He is like a little tiny toy. I mean, he is just he's like a little petite powerhouse. It was amazing.
Isn't that crazy too? Because you know the whole vibe of the Who in the beginning. Literally, Roger Daltrey beat up Pete Townsend and said, "I'm in your band." And
well,
I'm like,
I don't
if he's
doubt
a tiny
that.
guy,
He's a powerhouse, though. I mean,
don't care. And Pete Townsend's a sensitive guy, but fucking crown that guy with a Les Paul if he comes after you. If he's a shrimp.
No, and he was just as good looking as ever, even though he had open heart surgery the year before, and he was like cracked from sternum to wherever.
I see.
So he had this huge scar down his chest that was just. I was like, I'm fascinated by your scar too, dude. But I was with somebody, so you don't go after Roger Daltrey when you're with someone. That's like
I got to be honest with you.
Faux pas.
Hardcore rock star is the only one that can get away with this. Hey, honey, want to see where this scar ends?
No doubt.
That's literally. I don't know a lot of guys who can pull that line off. But if the lead singer of the Who shows up, you're like, yeah, absolutely, sounds good.
I have a Polaroid with him. He was the sweetest person ever. And I watched him take a fall that was brutal water skiing in Florida.
Really?
Just brutal. Yeah. And like got back in the boat and went, and I'm like, don't you have like a concert in a day or two? And he's like, maybe.
Did he say bloody L?
No.
Oh, see, I love a bloody L. I told you I get that out of Jimmy Bain, who was the keyboardist for Dio. He literally said bloody L at one point, which made me very happy. All right. So you saw Eagles like a million years ago.
I think I did. I want to say I did. I can't remember completely because again, I have lived 9 lives and I can't remember a lot of things.
Well, I thought you would be upset because of the music, because of Frank Ocean's basically, like I said, because they were upset. Certainly they were not happy with it. So they put the kibosh on it. But here's the thing. Like I said, it's never been released. So it's hard. It only lives online. However, I found it on Spotify. But it's not Frank Ocean who posted it.
Of course not.
but I know, but Spotify usually is, I look, I'm not saying they have the police and they fucking squared, although they do have the police, they got their whole catalog, but I'm saying, I don't know if they have police online there to go ahead and scoop off stuff that doesn't belong. They do sometimes. Cause like I'll have a playlist and there'll be some rap song on there and they'll come back and it's like, it's blacked out. Like, you know what song is blacked out? This fucking pissed me off. I made it like an 80s playlist a million years ago. You know what is gone from there? What the fuck is the song? Christ, now I'm thinking of Only the Lonely by the Motels. Right? It a fucking great song, but for some reason, like their whole catalog is on there. Like there's stuff on there Take the L Out of Lover and It's Over is still on
Ooh,
there.
Beautiful song.
But fucking, and it's so funny because I'm like, well, that's the hit. Of course, that's gone. That makes no fucking sense. And I don't know if the Motels, because, we talked about this before, I think. Bands are re-recording their songs because they don't own the masters. So they re-record it and they put it up there. Did I talk about Steel Breeze on here? I think I did, right?
I'm not sure.
There's a band named Steel Breeze, and like they're who the fuck was I telling this to? God damn it, I'm pissed. I don't want to, because I don't want to repeat myself. I feel like an idiot.
Okay. I have a real important question for you though.
All right, let's hear it.
Let's go back to Frank Ocean for a second, playing
Right, sure.
playing at Coachella.
Yes.
Now, he only did one song.
Okay.
Could it be that one song was?
American Wedding?
Yeah.
That would be,
And
it'd
that's
be
why
incredible.
he had to leave because the Eagles swooped in and
Oh,
went,
there's no
"Get
doubt.
out."
Don Henley shows up in a chopper. Anytime at all there's any sort of copyright infringement, if Don Henley isn't fucking mailboxing call girls on his couch, then he's swooping in on a chopper to stop Frank Ocean from making people happy. God damn you, Henley. Do you know what mailboxing is, by the way? Have I talked about that on here?
No, I don't want to know.
It was in, no, you truly do. It was in, what was, Hooker wrote a book. I forget, call girl, whatever, Hooker, lady of the evening, loose moraled lady. I don't know what you want to call her. She wrote the, You'll Never Eat Lunch in This Town Again.
Yes.
Okay. That was like, I forget who it was. Someone
Yeah.
wrote that. And then she wrote something like, You'll Never Sleep in This Town Again, or You'll Never whatever in this town again. It was
Yeah.
a book written by a call girl with a lot of inside type stuff.
Okay.
And she talked about Henley, okay, and he would get like 4 or 5 call girls to his house, and they would get on his couch and they would bend over the couch, and he would go down the row and fuck them all, bang, 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 and up and down the row and fuck all the girls in a row, and they called it mailboxing.
I don't believe this story at all.
Yeah, it's in the Hooker book. Hookers
I
don't lie.
care. Hookers don't lie. That would be my book. Hookers don't lie.
Right.
Wink, wink.
The reason
Everybody
they called
lies.
it mailboxing, because if you ever go out into a rural area,
Yes.
they'll have like 6 mailboxes on one post,
In a row.
and you just go in and throw the mail in. Yeah, it is. I love that term so much. I love the idea that they go, man, we got to think of a term for this guy fucking 5 of us on a couch, because it was among them. And they would just like look at each other while they were getting banged, like, because I don't know. Like, I don't know if I could do a mailboxing, and here's why. Because I actually care if the woman's into it. I know that sounds ridiculous, and I know as a rock star, pussy becomes like whatever the fuck. So you're not getting 5 chicks off with the mailboxing. You're not. I mean, it's all I can do to make one concentrate and be in the moment with me. All right. I couldn't line up 5 and just go, yeah, here we go. Here's fucking 5 slots that I can fill with fucking mailers.
So what I'm hearing is you're in touch with your sensitive side and you want to make love. You don't want to fuck
I can
for
tell you-
sport.
Let me tell you this. I am making love out of nothing at all. I think Air Supply was at Coachella, weren't they?
I don't know. They may
I
have
don't know.
blown away.
They could have. So Ocean's on stage. He does one song and he bails, and people are furious at him. So anyway, so American Wedding is on Spotify, and I don't know if it's. Here's the deal. I don't want to say the name of the person because I don't want Spotify to find it and take it off, because then I'll never be able to listen to it again. But if you email me or you write me a note, I will. Although, you know what, fuck this. Nobody's going to do that. Just Google American Wedding Frank Ocean. You'll fucking find it, I'm sure, because the internet is a by turns terrible and fantastic place. So they'll bring you right to where you need to go. But the song is beautiful. It's a beautiful song. So today I go in the shower. I got my Frank Ocean playlist, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to start with American Wedding. But I will say this. I noticed on the playlist, like, visually, it had the name of the song, and then it'll have, like, you can play it or whatever and all that stuff, the shuffling, whatever. But, so I put on shuffle, and then all of them had a little transmitter, it's an icon that I can't explain. But for some reason, the American Wedding one was different. Like, it looked like it had headphones over something. And when I went to play it, it wouldn't let me hit shuffle on the whole playlist. It said jump forward by 15 seconds. And it usually does that with like podcasts. So in my brain, I'm like, wait a minute. Did this chick get around the rule
Probably.
by putting up this song as a podcast? That's fucking bananas, right? So I was like, well, all right, well, I'll just go ahead and play it, and we'll, and then shuffle, and we'll figure out whatever. So I threw on American Wedding. I get in the shower, and it's like I said, it's about 8 minutes long. So on a Tuesday, that's going to cover most of my shower. Not going to lie to you.
Most of it.
Most of my shower is about 10 minutes every day. You know what I mean? But it can on days where I'm shaving, it can be into 13 to 15 minutes, depending on, how I feel, depending on the breeze that I'm getting from the window and the door. Because if it's by turns the incredibly hot water and the cool breeze, I don't ever want to get out of the fucking shower. Also, who knows what I decide to do in the shower? If you know what I'm talking about, that also affects exit and entry time. Well, not entry time. It doesn't affect entry time. But yeah, it does, because sometimes I'll do that. You know what? Sometimes I take care of that before I even get in the shower.
Oh,
and then
so many
there
things.
you go. Yeah, look, I'm just giving you a window into me. I'm letting you see who I am. I'm letting you understand what the things I do are like. And I want you to know, if you become involved in my life, this is what you need to be prepared for. Take that.
No one is prepared.
No, and no one's getting involved in my life, so it doesn't fucking matter. So like I said, 8 minutes covers most of my shower, right? So it's coming to the end, and it comes to the neat little sing-songy rap part, and I'm like, all right, and I'm doing whatever, and and I'm waiting for more Frank Ocean. I'm just waiting for. I have, like I said, there's like a 12-song playlist. I know what's on there. I'm waiting. I'm going, oh, what if it's? I think it's called Pink and Blue, I think, or Pink and White, and I'm like, that'd be a cool song. And then all of a sudden, I hear like a heart monitor. Eep, eep, like that noise comes out of the speaker, and it's just, and then a heartbeat, and then the heart monitor, and then I'm like, wait a minute, is this Coma from Guns N' Roses? It's not. It doesn't sound like it, because Guns N' Roses Coma starts out with boom, 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 bow, down,
yeah.
But it doesn't. It has the bop, bop of the heart monitor, but like later. But fucking, so all of a sudden it starts this like weird heart monitor, and then the drums kick in, ding. And then the guitar goes, and I just start laughing, because it is the theme song for a wrestler named Taz when he was in the WWE. And I have no fucking idea why my fucking radio decided to play it in the middle of the Frank Ocean playlist. To the point where in my brain, I'm like, because again, when you hear those songs, you're kind of hardwired when you watched wrestling to then the wrestler comes out. He walks down the aisle and he like points at the crowd or whatever. And that's his when his music hits, there's a huge crowd pop. So this music hits, and my brain, I'm not kidding, for just a split second, I'm like, is Taz here? Like, what the fuck is going on? Because I'm in the shower, and that would not be fortuitous for either of us, quite frankly. But it just played, and the whole song played, the whole fucking song, and it's not on the playlist. That I don't have any idea why Spotify decided, you know what, man, this is it. It's Taz. Taz is here. And the thing is, there's a wrestling clip show called Botchamania. It's on YouTube, right? Okay, and they have certain bits that they do all the time with certain things. And one of the things they do is, because Taz is now an announcer. He's not an active wrestler anymore. I don't even know how his fucking song played. But in the Botchamania, they'll always come to a segment, and it'll play the music for Taz, right? But it's a scene from Willy Wonka, from the Oompa Loompas, and then the Rock will move, and the Oompa Loompa will come out and go like, "Ha ha!" and they'll play an announcer going, "It's Taz," because Taz is notoriously small for a professional wrestler. So the bit is like, "Oh, it's Taz. Here's his music," and then it's an Oompa Loompa. And I haven't seen Botchamania in like a year. That always makes me laugh, that segment. But it made me think of it again in the shower. So I'm like, is Taz here? And then I'm like, wait a minute, this is from Botchamania. And then I'm like, I literally have no idea why it pulled it up, because I have other rock music, like Steve Austin and the NWO, stuff like that. I made a wrestling intros playlist of songs with fucking Sabbath and people. Give Me Back My Bullets by the Briscoes, all this stuff. I have all those things on a playlist, but Taz was not on there. But I will say this, now I will put Taz on that playlist. I'm excited. At the same time, I don't know, because Spotify does a weird thing where they'll be like, hey man, you might like this, but never in the middle of a playlist in the shower. Like, that never showed up. It was always, sometimes they'll have that just, and it doesn't even play. Like, if you let a playlist end, it will then play songs in the style of the music you just played. I'm going to tell you this, there are no more polar opposites than Frank Ocean and Taz. There is no, Taz is the human suplex machine. Frank Ocean is a gentle soul who creates wonderful ballads and music. So I'm going to say that it's incongruous to even pair the two. And yet, Daniel Fjellkulor, whatever IKEA lamp owns fucking Spotify, was like, here you go, Mike. You can't forget about Taz, buddy. And so I am equally shocked, but also grateful to have Taz brought back onto my radar so I can put him on a playlist.
So did you get out of the shower on that note?
Hell no. Only because I didn't know what it would portend. Because if you get out of the shower, because again, I could get suplexed. I might have to suplex a guy. It's an aggressive song to get out of the shower on. It means an aggressive day. So I didn't want to get out of the song during an aggressive song. And also part of me was like, well, now I got to see what's next. Like I have no idea what's next. Because what the fuck could they be doing? Hopscotching around or bringing me all sorts of different music that they think I like? What happened? Have they tapped into my soul? I don't know if they have.
I don't think so.
I don't know. They certainly tried. And yet, there I was listening, and then Taz ended, and we just seamlessly went right back into Frank Ocean and the playlist. And I stayed, because now we're about 11 minutes in the shower, because Taz's song is almost maybe 3 minutes long, probably. And the song played, and I loved the song, but I'm like, well, is this still the playlist? I said, you know what? I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait and see if this happens. And sure enough, I waited in the next song, and I was able to get out of the shower. So it was back into.
What was the song you got out of the shower on?
I never know the names of the songs, but I can tell you that sort of thing. I apologize, but yeah, it's
maybe it's the one he played at Coachella.
Oh wow! And then he left to take a shower. See, look at how we're all together. The two of us are so tied
tied it up in a little bow. It's so beautiful. It's a Coachella shower. It's muddy. It's windy. It's gross. It's Frank Ocean doing one song. It's a shower. Oh God!
And it cost you $1,000. It cost you $1,000 to see Frank Ocean do one song, but that's great. Is
that what Coachella is this year? Now is $1,000?
I don't know. That's what all of them are, right? Because you got to buy 3 days. Dude, did you see? All right. Well, let's fucking talk about this. Did you see the fucking thing that's coming to Indio in October?
No.
All right. Do you remember a couple of years ago they had Fleetwood Mac and the Rolling Stones and Paul McCartney? They had all these legendary bands play like a weekend in Indio.
I don't know that.
It was like one night it was the Rolling Stones and Fleetwood Mac. One night it was the Who and Paul McCartney. Like literally it was they did that.
I've seen all of those but Paul McCartney. But I didn't.
I've never seen Paul McCartney.
No, wait, I did see Paul McCartney in the Wings.
Oh, and the Wings? Holy shit, were you 4?
Maybe. That had to be who it was. I have to look this up.
Yeah, you do. Good Lord.
While we're talking.
Well, that's great. Please, by all means, go check into your phone. So they had that concert in India. This was a couple of years ago, and honestly, I regretted not going. I would have loved to have gone, but the thing that keeps me from going is again my rule about festivals. The fact that it's in Indio in the middle of the fucking desert. You know, you're on your way to the show. And then, you know, fucking Jim Morrison's in a car accident looking at a shaman. You know what I mean? You never know what the fuck's going to happen in the desert. There's sagebrush, there's cactuses, there's a Joshua tree. You can fucking have anything happen there. You get fucking, you know what? There's Joe Pesci yelling at fucking Robert De Niro. They're burying bodies in the desert. Who the fuck knows? So I can't possibly go ahead and do anything like that in the desert. So Indio kept me. I wanted to see those bands. I was excited about it.
Yeah.
But it kept me because again, like festivals are just, and especially for a giant dude. Well, we talked about this with you when you were going to roll out on your Jazzy in the middle of nowhere and go to the fucking possible handicap section that could also possibly be the snow cone section. You have no fucking idea. You're not sure.
Yeah.
So I was like, I want to go to these festivals. They seem ideal. And yet I know I'm no longer built for these times, I think is the Beach Boys would say. I can't go stand in a field. I can't just fucking be ankle deep in fucking booze and vomit and hoping that something good happens. You know what I mean? Even though, whatever. But I still want to go. I have that inside me. Like you got to be fucking rich to go to these festivals. That's the deal, man. You got to we have a festival coming up here, the Ohana Festival with I'll talk about that real quick. Eddie Vedder puts on the Ohana Festival every year in fucking Dana Point. And on the third day, it's like Eddie Vedder and the Pretenders, or no, Foo Fighters and Pretenders are headlining, or something like that.
Wow.
It's like, it's crazy. Like Eddie Vedder's headlining one night, the Foo Fighters are headlining one night. I think it's Eddie Vedder and the Pretenders on the third night. And like, I would fucking love to go to that. And like, 12 other bands that you've never heard of. It's literally Eddie Vedder and the Pretenders and the Fine Print. That's who's going to be at these shows. Same thing with Coachella. You always see those big banner names like Frank Ocean, and then down at the bottom, it could be, it might as well, honestly, what Coachella should do, and I'm sure somebody's already done this as a meme or something, when they put out that poster, I've seen stuff where people will put out, like, you've never heard of these bands, they'll make it an eye chart. You should just put like the instructions, like the warning on a Viagra label, warning if you blah, 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 just down there, because that's who you're seeing. Who cares about the fucking early bands? So that one in Dana Point sounds fun, and it's on the beach, I think, but it's like, then you got to deal with the youth. I don't want to I don't want to deal with the youth. Although, again, I don't know how many of the youth are seeing Eddie Vedder and the Pretenders, but still, at the same time, it's just. And look, again, I love concerts. I want to go. Case in point, I mentioned those shows they did at Indio. Well, they're doing it again this year. I need you. Right now. You got to get off your phone. You got to give me a second.
I'm listening to you. I was checking the date.
All right. The Indio show is October. That's when the Indio shows are. And it's a metal version of the show they did the last time, where they had the Stones and the Who and Paul McCartney and Fleetwood Mac and stuff.
Yeah.
This year, the first night is Guns N' Roses and Iron Maiden.
Interesting.
And the second night is AC/DC and Ozzy Osbourne.
Okay. And
then the third night is Metallica and Tool.
That's a lineup, all right.
It's fucking insane. It's insane. Yeah. And look, we all know my financial situation. I'm currently asking strangers to buy me a car. And yet, I went to the website and I looked because I gotta see.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't even get to the tickets. Honestly, I looked at ticket packages because I wanted to get a feel for that. Because you can't go to those. Like if you're going to that, you got to go to all three shows. Like you can't just go drive to Indio for one. The sad part about that is like I could somehow make two work. I could make 2 nights work if they had Guns N' Roses and Maiden back to back with Metallica and Tool. It's that AC/DC Ozzy speed bump in the middle that has me going, nah. And here's why. Because I've seen AC/DC, okay?
Yeah.
And they're fucking phenomenal. I've seen Ozzy 5 times. But the issue is I saw them then.
Yeah.
Now is not then.
Yeah.
So Brian Johnson has a lot of trouble vocally. All right. And it only makes sense because the man had been caught in a wood chipper for 25 years. And there was nothing wrong with that. But yet eventually your vocal cords, it's like, look, if you wear an aggressive sweater for 30 years, by the 30th year, it's going to be frayed and thin and the strings are falling. It's just a deal, man. So that's what up with his vocal cords. Cause he was at, the Foo Fighters Taylor Hawkins show in England. And it was rough. It was just rough. Like they were going to move on without him for a while because he actually had vocal trouble. And then Axl took his place when he was sick. You can find those clips online, and those are actually kind of amazing because Axl was still kind of in the same. Even though Axl has trouble too, they all have trouble because they sing like that fucking forever.
Yeah.
They all were fucking gargling sand, tobacco, and fucking pussy juice for fucking years, and it ruined their goddamn vocal cords. So ask Michael Douglas. So
wow.
What? Didn't he say he got throat cancer from fucking Catherine Zeta-Jones's vagina?
HPV virus.
I thought he got throat cancer.
It wasn't her vagina that caused it. But HPV virus can cause throat cancer.
All right, brace yourselves, everybody. I'm going to say something to you. I guarantee everybody's they're all going to shiver right now. Everybody's going to shiver. So you're saying it wasn't her vagina that caused it? It was Catherine Zeta-Jones's secretions that caused it? Is that what you're trying to say? I just wanted to use that word. By the way, secretions on that third day with Metallica and Tool.
I don't doubt it.
That'd be fantastic. See, Zeta-Jones secretions. That's who's going to be there.
I would pay to see that band.
Yeah, no kidding. I you know what? I dive face first into that band. fucking so AC/DC is a coin flip because at least they're still bringing the music and fucking hardcore, and it's Angus is still there, he's getting it done, but Ozzy's the problem. Ozzy retired. I mean, this is legit. He put out a new album in fucking September, and then fucking Sharon went out and was like, Daddy's retired, Daddy can't do it no more, he's just so tired. And I'm like, all right, great, that makes sense, good, take some time off, take all the time off. You're Ozzy. You've lived it. You've earned it. And then they announced he's coming back. Like they canceled his tour. He was supposed to tour, and they canceled. And look, I understand for a one-off, maybe he gets his, but it's not going to be good. I guarantee it's not going to be good.
What if it's the best? What if it's the best he's ever been because he's rested?
I would love to yes and that, but it is not going to be. I am telling you right now, it is clearly not going to be the best. It is not going to work that way. You want it to be that. It's just that
I don't care either way.
Yeah. It's that thing where you go, I know you want this to go one way. It's not going to go that way. It's just not. Ozzy's just in trouble, man. And so that show is it doesn't need, if that was Friday, then you go Saturday, Sunday, and you make that work. And Metallica and Tool is going to be fucking ridiculous. Like I can't even, God damn, that would be amazing. Yeah. But the ticket packages are, how do I put this? What's the word I'm looking for? Unwelcoming. Is that a good word? There's the 3-night ticket package and then like hotels. And I think it starts at like $2,600.
I was going to say it's yeah.
It's almost $1,000 a night. And that's for the seats up in the fucking, the wingnut section. You know what I mean? If you want to be in the pit, it's more, which by the way, I gotta be honest with you, man, you got to flip that. I would much rather be up in the wingnut section than I would be in the fucking pit. And this is me, old. In the old days, the pit, fuck yes, let's do it. But I don't want to stand up for a whole fucking show. The only, and also, and imagine that just fucking horrible DNA pit of sweaty Hessians just smashing into one another. And the fucking weird bouillabaisse that will come from all of our fucking fluids and stench. Oh, and also it's in the desert. Some assholes are going to go there 3 days and they're not going to take the hotel package. Still going to sleep in a tent and they're going to just fucking smell aggressively angry. And also guys my age, like young guys aren't going to see fucking Ozzy and AC/DC. I don't want to see literally. No, it's going to be a pile of dudes who storm the Capitol. That's all it is. That's what you're going to do when you go to the show. It's just going to be a bunch of dudes. That's gray beards and New Balance, but reliving their youth and smashing into one another, taking out all their aggression against trans people by fucking singing Whole Lotta Rosie, but denying the fact of what it's about. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, this is about a really fat chick. Yeah, I know, but oh yeah, we can say fat chick here. Yeah, fuck off. Kill yourselves.
Does that price include air-conditioned restrooms? Because that was the thing that made me laugh on the other tour was you had to pay extra to use the air-conditioned bathrooms.
That's really funny.
Wow.
I don't think it's air-conditioned bathrooms, but it is like those prices have different. There's a whole other section for you.
Yeah.
If you pay them, and that's this is the way to do it. You want to chop these up into different gerrymander the whole fucking thing. So
you want to make it a big whole classist thing?
Yes, that's the way it should be.
Why should people who not have money be forced to pee in the heat? I'm sorry. That's how they dehydrate and then end up with more medical bills.
You're wrong. It's not people with no money being forced to pee in the heat. It's people with no money shouldn't be at the AC/DC concert. I mean, that's what you're doing. You're paying to see AC/DC.
You
bathrooms
capitalist.
Don't even fucking start. Don't even fucking start. If you can pay $150 for a fucking ticket, you can use a porta potty like every other fucking schmo. But if you've got $2,000, then guess what? You better get a better fucking bathroom. That's what this country was founded on. It's in the Constitution.
I don't think that is.
It totally is. Fucking John Adams is just like, yeah, I'll tell you what. If you were ever in the desert seeing a fucking show and you want to separate yourself from the hoi polloi, you must pay a little bit more currency. By the way, which bill am I going to be on? And they were like, John, we're thinking about it. And guess what happened? Guess what fucking happened? Guys, get that in writing before you die. Because John Adams he thought forever he was going to be on like the fucking double dollar. They were like, oh man, George Washington's on the dollar. John Adams was like, I should be on the double dollar. Like, okay, John, we'll get that done quick. Wink. And then fucking Adams dies at 30, as they all did back then, because there's lice in their powdered wigs and they're eating sorghum. Nobody wants to fucking deal with these idiots. We got a country to build. Bring me a bowl of sorghum and comb the lice out of this wig. Then they'd write up a fucking document and everybody dies. And they're like, and that was the way it was the first wave. But then a bunch of guys are like, you know what? Actually, we got a country to build. Let's get a bunch of black dudes over here to make me a bowl of sorghum and comb the lice out of my wig. And then there you go. No more effort. They didn't have to do it. And see, this country was built on the strong backs of black people, and they're not being recognized for it. Damn it.
It's so true.
Oh, stop. Don't even, I can't even, any path I open for you, you're going to burst, you're going to charge in.
It isn't a charge in, it's a truth. It's just a truth of the sexism, the racism, the classism, and the horribleness of this country.
Nobody listens to podcasts for truth. Nobody cares. They want to hear me talk about how Vietnam had Blink-182 headlining it. That's all they care about. Nobody gives a shit about the world. It's over. Didn't you get the memo? The fucking thing's done.
Sadly, I did.
Do me a favor. Find a board to grab onto as we all spin counterclockwise down the fucking drain.
Oh, it won't happen that fast, sadly. It will be a slow, painful, just sitting in the toilet, treading water forever before it ever gets flushed down.
Yes. Well, we've been in the toilet since 1980. So
I know.
There you go.
Thank you, Reagan.
All you got. Oh my God. Oh my God. It was implied. We don't need to be on the nose. Don't put a hat on a hat. Oh Jesus. So yeah,
how angry you get about politics.
It's not. I'm not angry about it. I have thoughts, but I'm bored by the whole fucking, like today. All right, I'm going to talk about this real quick. I don't want to fucking go bananas.
I'm bored by people losing their rights and their lives.
Yes. Yeah, no, I'm not bored of it. I'm bored of nothing fucking happening to fucking fix it. Okay, don't put me in a spot where you think I'm this unfeeling fucking guy. I'm not.
You're unfeeling. I'm teasing.
But anything I fucking say isn't going to change shit. Anything I do, I've tried. You know, I've given money. I've done what I can. I've voted. But again, today, Dominion settles with Fox. So
Did they settle? I have not watched the news today.
Yeah, literally, lawyers were waiting in the courtroom, and the jury was seated, and they said, "Hey, hold on, we're figuring some stuff out." And then they announced you can all go home because they settled. They settled a $1.8 billion lawsuit for $790 million, and Fox does not have to admit any wrongdoing. Doesn't have to go on their show. Doesn't have to say anything. And I don't know. And so people are furious about it. Because
$787 million.
Yeah. And, Rupert Murdoch's worth $20 billion. So to him, that's like 75 cents out of a $20 bill. And it's fine. But this is the thing. I don't give a fuck because it doesn't change anything. Nothing changes. I don't know. There are people I don't want to get into this so much, but it's because I hate the discourse. I hate everybody leaping in with their aggressive stance or take. And I understand that's what leads me to question doing this show, because I'm like, why does anybody give a fuck what I have to say if they have to hear what everybody else has to say? And it's a hard thing for me to navigate sometimes. But today, when this happened, I don't know how anybody was surprised. And I truly don't know how anybody was angry, because they all envisioned this was, again, it's like the same people who keep tweeting pictures of fuckneck in cuffs or in an orange jumpsuit, or they're like, yeah, it's about time he's going in. He's going to get taken in. Finally, we got him. You didn't get him. He lived a larcenous life for 75 fucking years, and he's probably going to be alive another 20, and he's not going to fucking jail. He's going to fucking get away with all this shit. And he always did, and he always will. It's just the way things are here. So when this comes along, these people all expected Dominion to, like, they were going to somehow take apart Fox News, and Fox News was going to apologize and completely change, and they were going to say it was never going to be that. But people invest in it in a way where it's like the X-Men or Superman. Like you can't view it that way. Everything is gray. There is no black, there is no white. Everything in the fucking world is gray. And Dominion is owned by fucking an investment company. They want to pay money for their shareholders, so they were going to take whatever fucking giant amount of money they were offered, and they did. And this settlement is, I think, worth 8 times what the company itself is worth. You're telling me they were going to fucking take it? Who was shocked by it and who was angered by it? That's what I mean, is people gin themselves up in a way where they see this coming down the line and they're like, all right, here's the one. This is the knockout blow to Fox. Dude, Fox is a monolith. They're not fucking going anywhere. And even if, because I'm sure they'll lie about this even. They'll spin it in some way where, like, oh my gosh, this horrible corporation beating up on free speech and fair and balanced news. You know what I mean? And then people will be mad about that. And it's this never ending outrage cycle. So, and I apologize.
It's not about the outrage. It's about the horrible injustices.
Yes, but they're not, you hope they get fixed, but these people who keep harping on it moment by moment, day after day, are not accomplishing anything. And if anything, that's why I say that's what I'm bored of. All right. Look, nobody's bored about the fact that people don't have rights. I'm not bored about the fact that homeless people should be taken care of and that minorities should be fucking treated much better in this country, and women are a fucking victim and stalked in this country. It's terrible. These are all terrible things. But you become inured to them. You become immune to the people complaining, and you're just, there's no, all you can do is hope that things will get better and do what you can to make it better. But these people who just constantly bitch and moan and rant and yell and talk about it. I took a screenshot. I'm not joking. I'll read it to you. I took a screenshot today because of what happened with the news. Okay. The Fox thing. And, a guy, this is all right. It was a Twitter exchange, and a guy named Joe the bartender literally wrote, "This just proves Fox lies." And the reply to him was from "Come and Get It," and he wrote, "LOL. What about CNN?" And that is your discourse. That is America in 2 sentences. This just proves Fox lies. LOL. What about CNN? That's it. That's the whole, like I said, it tastes great, less filling all the time. Nobody listens to anybody. Nobody fixes anything, and nobody changes anything. In the discourse wise, whatever the fuck else you want to try to do, voting and money and every other thing, that's a different thing. But for me, I'm sick of it. I want good things to happen, and we'll do what I can to move forward and hope good things can happen and try to help.
Do you know what that just made me realize?
What's that?
We need to eat the rich, period.
Sure.
I'm done.
Let's eat the poor too.
I used to believe revolution within could happen in this country, and I don't anymore, because I believe the external and the corruption is so deep. When you look at people like Clarence Thomas and you look at what's going on and how rules don't apply, I eat the rich. I'm done. I'm so tired.
Yes, thank you. That's my point. I don't want anything to do with it. But
the point is, I can't stop fighting because I may die, but people will still continue to live here. And again, generation fucking X and the zillennials and millennials and the rest of them, they have even less patience than I have, and they still have energy and health.
Well, you say this. And then I go on TikTok and see people dancing in a swimming pool. So
dancing in a swimming pool is not, again,
I
can care about human rights. Oh yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I did the same thing to you a second ago.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to tell you, or I'm going to tell you, this has knocked some wind out of my sails. I was really hoping that this would go to court. All right. I am not like, oh, I can't believe they settled. Oh my God. But I was really hoping that they would push it through.
I think the difference is I have no hope. And I mean, I've stated this for years. You know what I mean? I stated it through the pandemic. I stated it through everything. But the problem is I can't be selfish enough to only focus on myself and the things I want, because I still am open to what is happening in the world and want to see change and want to hope for things that are good. But also there's something to be said for just watching cool movies and reading good books and talking to your friends and going to the concerts in the desert and having a good time and eating a fucking lobster roll. You know what I mean? Like, you have to find time for those things.
You take the small wins. Have you seen my hand all day? Can you see my hand on the video right now?
Oh
I can't type on the typewriter right now because my hand is completely cramped up.
Is it frozen like that?
Yeah, pretty much. I can get it to bend out a little bit, but there's so much inflammation in these 2 joints because I had to use the computer for 2 days. I can't use my right hand again. Yeah, I mean, I can only care so much about the world when I'm still going, how am I going to work? You know, we all have those things, but I still believe that the world is bigger than just me. So I still try to make it a better place. And I give as much energy to that as I can.
That's where we differ. I don't know how the world could be bigger than just me. I don't think that's possible, quite frankly. I don't know who these people are. Look, I won't lie to you. I'm guaranteeing right now, there is one person fighting in Sudan who has AirPods on and he's listening to this show. I guarantee you there's some guy in the Sudan who's like, yeah, you know
Possible.
what? I need Mike to take me into battle. That's exactly what I goddamn need. And you know what I say to you out there, Roger? I say fucking hide in a ditch. Don't find a shed. You know what? Find an air conditioned porta potty.
Oh, I'm gonna cry.
Did you pay the $1,000 in Somali or Sudani fucking rubles or whatever the fuck you guys use over there? Find the air conditioned porta potty and hide from the Tutsi warriors, whoever the fuck is rolling through your village with machetes. Because Jesus, again, I talked about this before, dude. During the pandemic, I would find solace in old newscasts. There was an old newscast from when I was a kid called Night Beat. It was on at 1:30 in the morning on WGN TV. And it it ran ahead of the Late Late Show. And it was just a newscast, a half-hour newscast in the middle of the night. And I would watch these old episodes from like 1980, 81. There's full episodes on YouTube. And I love the theme song. It takes me right back to being fucking 13 in the middle of the night. And I love it so much. And in the video, I watched one, and they were talking about police unions and a strike and them trying to get more money. They talked about the Middle East and Israel and Palestine. Literally, it could have been from today. The shit that they were reporting, I'm just like, nothing's. And so you think about that, that's from 81. That's 41, 42.
Well, things have changed. Women no longer have autonomy over their body.
No, I am still up in the middle of the night watching newscasts. Nothing has changed. And this, autonomy, whatever. Like, you ever really had autonomy? Please, I don't want to hear it.
I just told my brother, I go, Mom never had a credit card until 1979 that had her name on it. And he goes, huh. You're right. My wife had Mrs. John, blah, 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 blah on her credit card. And I'm like, yeah. I go, this country is not good to women. And he's like, wow.
I got to be honest. Well, I'll tell you what, though. I think my mom had a credit card because I saw her cutting lines of Coke with it in her in the living room at one point.
Still had your dad's name on it.
Could have been.
How sad is that?
Yeah. Well, look, man, you know what? Be nicer to your wife, or you're paying for a Coke and she's using your card to chop it up. Take that.
That was the upside of not being able to own property when women were chattel. Yeah. They didn't know money either.
No doubt. All right.
Oh fuck.
Oh, let me update people.
Motion.
Well, we talked about Frank. We're covered on that. I think.
I'm teasing.
I
need a drink.
I still can't hear your ice.
It's cool and refreshing ice. You really can't hear that?
I can't. Are they big ice cubes or what is it?
They are big ice cubes. Eddie was kind enough. One of the things that I don't like drinking water when it's room temperature, and I hate recycling bottles because I know they don't get recycled and it's bad. So I was like, I wish we had an ice maker. And he came home with a countertop ice maker. And in 7 minutes, I have 16 ice cubes.
Is it big cubes or is it pellet ice?
It's big cubes. They're an inch. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice. I love it.
I have
ice
people
cold
who swear.
Water.
It's so funny to me that became a thing. Like, because I'm well aware of the foibles of ice. My mom would not use round ice. We know this. She refused. Like, one time we went to the store and we bought it, and she's like, "It's round. I don't want it." And she sent us back to the store where we had to walk.
You had to return ice?
Yeah, I told the story a million years ago. Yeah, you
I
probably
do
don't
remember this. Yes.
Yeah, we walked to the 7-Eleven and we bought ice, and we came home. My mom's like, "What's this?" And we're like, "It's ice." And she's like, "It's round." We're like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Take it back." Like, what? She's like, "Yeah, I don't want round ice." If you ever wonder why I'm fucking bananas, there you go. Take that anecdote and run with it. And we had to literally go back to the store and tell the guy, "Hey, can we just return this?" And they're like, "Why?" And we said, "It's round." He just looked at us like, "You poor kids. Like, what the fuck is going on at your house?" But then I get older and I realize that that's a big deal for even more people. Like, because there's those, because actually when we lost my mom and I was in Florida, she still had her weird ice thing because she had, I've never seen them. Because I've seen those ones that make the balls of ice for your drink.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But she had these big silicone ice cube trays, but these cubes were fucking like 2 by 2, like easily 2 inches by 2 inches. They were like more like ice rectangles, like ice bars. They weren't cubes.
They're ice blocks for scotch.
And well, whatever she was using them for. But yeah, so she had those in her freezer. It was like fucking amazing. And but then also this pellet machine, like Fearful Jesuit. When I went to his house, he has a whole fucking It looks like a restaurant setup. Like it's on his fucking countertop and it makes that fucking pellet ice. There's a certain, I think it's called pellet ice. I don't even know what it is. And, man, what a fucking, I mean, look, it's two different things. It's like, that's amazing that you have that many choices and you can fucking make it happen. But also it's that thing where like, if a dude came over here from fucking Somalia, if he went into a fucking grocery store, he'd die of shock, first of all, at seeing 40 different kinds of cereal or whatever the fuck. And then if he saw you, I have a machine that just makes ice. It's such a like weird luxury to drop on somebody from nowhere. You know what I mean? They'd be like, what the fuck? Really?
It is a weird luxury, but as a disabled person, it is a convenience that I cannot explain because I can't pop an ice cube tray to get ice out. I can't physically do it with my hands. So the fact that like this genie on my counter grants my wish for ice, and so that I can always drink cold water, which makes me drink more water, which keeps me hydrated. Best $100 I think we've spent in a long time. And I don't have to buy bottled water and recycle it because I have a Brita filter right next to it that isn't too heavy for me to lift and pour. It's a disability convenience more than anything else. So weird, but man, it makes me happy.
Well, good.
And I have my one Dr. Pepper glass that he bought me. He found these amazing, like Pizza Hut red cups with the Dr. Pepper logo on them. Yeah. Bought me 4 of those, and I don't think I have used any other cup. I wash it every day and drink it, and I stopped buying bottled water. So it's,
Yeah, I did that during the pandemic. I stopped buying it because the only reason I bought bottled water and I would drink it in my house, but also I took it on the road when I'd be driving.
Yeah.
And I wound up saying, well, fuck, you're just wasting money at this point because you're not going anywhere. So I started drinking ice water, and that's why I use these giant cups. It's fucking amazing. Yeah. And I make ice because I make my own ice. I don't have some fucking fancy contraption that fucking busts out ice cubes for me. I go old fashioned. You know what I have? I have a faucet. That's what I fucking have. I got a faucet and I bought ice cube trays. My old ice cube trays cracked, so then they would leak in the freezer.
Fridge and stick?
They didn't for a long time, but after a year. But so then I have to chip that ice off with a butter knife and throw it in. So then I'm using shatter, like ice shatter. But then I wound up buying. I was mad. I bought cubes or trays on Amazon, and they were silicone trays. And they get here, and they're like half the size of a regular ice cube. They're so small. So then I went to Target. This is like 2 months ago. And I was like, I got to get some other ice trays because all my old ones cracked. So I only have 3 of the silicone trays. I like to have 4 ice trays humming at all times. That's how I handle my business.
Yeah.
So I went in and I found ice trays, and they're double the size of the silicone ones. They're fucking huge. They're even bigger than my old ice trays. And they were fucking $1.50.
Yep.
So about 2 of those. And so then I put those in, and here's the thing. I make ice all the time. And this made me laugh. Someone on Twitter was like, what's something you do, a nice thing you do for future you? What do you do to think of yourself in the future? So then when you won't have to deal with that. And I instantly went, I make ice.
Yeah.
Because at night it'll be like 4 or 5 in the morning. And I'll go, you know what? I'm going to make ice before I hit the rack, because then tomorrow I'll have ice all day. So much ice.
Yep.
And then I have ice that I can go ahead and grab. It's just a way to be nice to yourself. And so that's very nice that he would get you a machine. That's like, it's, and so never need ice. It sounds ridiculous. But you're just like, no, this is one of the greatest things of all time.
Well, I'll tell you, the power went out the other day.
No.
And it didn't come back on for 4.5 hours, I think.
Good Lord.
And I didn't think about it when I went to bed, got up the next morning, and there was no ice because it was just sitting there and it had turned itself off and it was all sad. Yeah. But the cool thing is the ice melts into the bottom and then just get recycled into new ice. So I just turned it on, and 7 minutes later I had ice again.
Perfect.
I just went, the world is a happy place, even when it's sad.
Yeah.
Even though I don't have autonomy over my body.
But you have autonomy. Ice. You have autonomy over your ice machine's body, and that's more important. You can tell it what to do, and that's great.
I do find that there are wonderful things still in the world. I'm not like all day angry about stuff, but capitalism sucks. That is a fact.
I'm banning that word from this show.
So I'm happy.
I'm banning that word from this show.
Then you'll have to take my mic out of my cold, dead, unable to get medical care hands.
You say your ice machine was sad, and I understand that. So now I have come to a crossroads in my own life.
What?
As well, another thing that I take a vitamin every day. I take 2 vitamins, quite frankly. Yes. I take a men's multi, Sometimes I take the Edge. What is it? I forget who makes the whatever. I don't know who the fancy vitamin guys are, but they make the Edge, Men's Pro Edge or whatever.
Men's Pro Edge.
So I take that, and then I also take a biotin supplement. Okay, for hair stuff and skin stuff. So I have them. They're in their containers, and I shake them out. You know what I mean? You can't reach in and take it. So you have to shake it out, right? Into your palm or onto the counter or whatever. So I have a rule, and I've talked about this on here before. People may remember, they may not, because people don't fucking care what I say.
Yes, they do. Everybody cares.
When I shake out the vitamins, if multiple vitamins come out, they all go back into the jar. Because clearly they are friends. And they know that if one of them goes, he's gone forever. So they're like, they try to save him. So they all go with him. They're like, don't worry about it, Charlie. We're coming with you. And they leap out onto the counter. And then I have to put them all back in the jar. And then I mix it up. I shake it so they're kind of on the bottom so they don't have to make that Sophie's Choice again. And then I'll shake it out. And if two come out, they both go back in and I shake them up. And that's with both vitamins. That's with the biotin. That's with the Men's Pro Edge multivitamin. And I've done this for years. When I have a bottle of soda or water, the cap has to stay with it because they're friends. They've been together from the beginning, from the factory through the truck ride to the store to my house. They're a team, and I can't split them up. I won't ever throw away a bottle and a cap separately. I have to crush the bottle and put the cap on top, and then they can go to their final judgment together.
Did you ever talk about this in therapy?
I don't think so, because that's not important stuff. That's all. It's you just why? But why is it weird? It's a kindness. I'm being kind to the bottles and the vitamins if that's their choice. But so that's what I mean. This is where I've run aground this week.
Okay.
I shook out the biotin, and a couple came out, like 3 of them, and I put them back in, and I shook it out, and then 2 came out, and I was frustrating, and I put them back in, and then I shook it out, and then they like 4 or whatever, 3 came out, like multiples, and I'm like, this is weird. And I was like, they're all great friends in this jar. So then I had to shake it up, and then I tipped it over, and like 1 came out. And then in my brain, I thought to myself, wow, maybe this guy is volunteering. Because I will say this too. Sometimes I've shaken out the biotin, and a guy will jump out, hit the counter, and jump into the garbage can. And I'm like, oh, this guy is like, he's just committed suicide. Like, he wants nothing to do with any of this, right? And I can't fish him out of the garbage can. I'll be like, well played, buddy. Or I'll get wet. It'll like fall into the sink.
Well played, buddy.
Yeah, why not? But then when I shook them out, but I had this epiphany. I thought of this. I've always thought that they were friends because they have a community of vitamins and they live amongst each other. It's a giant neighborhood inside their tub of vitamins or whatever the fuck, and they're pals. What if it's like a prison? What if it's like a vitamin jail and the dude is trying to get out and the other 2 guys go with him because they know I'll put them back and they can torment him then for the rest of his time? Or what if one of the vitamins is a lady and I go to shake her out and she's got a stalker or a weirdo who keeps fucking trying to date her, and he's like kind of like and she's just trying to get away from him, and then he keeps jumping out of the jar with her to make sure that she'll stay and won't get to escape his clutches. So I don't know what the fuck to do now.
Write a screenplay
about vitamins.
Yes,
sure. That's what people want. It's not like Sausage Party.
This is a Japanese anime thing that will win awards.
Sure, it will. I don't know. So I don't know if they're friends. So now I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I don't know if the vitamins are all friends, and when they come out multiply, if they're all trying to, or if that's someone trying. Because you know what made me think was the dude who committed suicide. Like when that vitamin jumped into the fucking sink and down into the garbage disposal, I was like, that's why I said, like, because other guys will go into the garbage. If they're still on the top, I'll fish them out. I mean, no offense, but garbage is not getting you away from my fucking gullet. But if you go into the sink, that means you're done. So he wanted to get wet because he knew I'm not going to, because I won't put any filmy, chalky vitamin into my mouth. There's nothing worse than when you go to swallow vitamins and they stick in your throat and then it starts to dissolve and you taste it. Ugh. So he knew going to the sink would be it. And so then I thought of the horrors he might have been going through in the vitamin jar.
You need to write the screenplay.
This is not. What are you talking about?
This is a screenplay. This is a screenplay. There's some sort of moral thing that's going to come out of this as you write it, and it's going to be incredible.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
It's going to win.
Right.
It's going to win an HBO documentary short.
Really?
And it'll be animated, and Will Ferrell will be the voice of one of them, because he's the voice of everything, right?
He is a voice guy, but also Seth Rogen, because like I thought of Sausage Party when you said that, because Sausage Party, that's the thing, is everything's alive, pizza's alive, and all that shit is alive, and it's all, you know. But then they all did fart and sex jokes, so there.
Yeah, and I think this is deeper. I think this is much deeper than fart and sex jokes.
No, I can tell you.
I don't think they're having sex in the vitamin jar as friends or as enemies.
All right. Well, it is deeper in my psyche. I can tell you that.
So let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Did you take a vitamin?
I take them every day.
Okay. So since you've started this new pondering, though, you've still taken them.
I'm very worried about them, but I do take them because I also feel in the overall fabric of things, their job is to be vitamins. So whatever's going on inside the two bottles, is whatever, but their destiny is to fortify me in some way. And they know that's their job and they're prepared for it. I don't think there's any vitamin who had a crisis of conscience who was like, I wanted to be a real boy. You know what I mean? There's none of those vitamins around. They know their vitamins and they know their deal. So it's just a matter of who wants to get out of the jar first to perform their job, and who's being abused in the prison of vitamins. That's the thing. So I do still take them because, quite frankly, I feel like they understand their job. They know what they're
except for the one that
do.
Jumped out and tried to kill himself.
Well, because maybe he didn't believe the stories of what was on the outside, and he was just like, I got to get out of this jar by any means necessary. He was the Malcolm X of vitamins. He's like, I got to fucking go. I don't know. I'm weird. I don't know. And you say I got to write it up, and that's fine. But I find myself.
I think it would be fascinating, no matter which way you decide to go with the story. I think it would be fascinating to see the story of the vitamin men. I'm
just conflicted as to whether any vitamins are in an abusive relationship, and if so, do I now have to dump out the jar and let them all live individually? Because you can put a vitamin in. There's a vitamin house I used to have, where like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it had vitamin.
I have those for 30 days, and I fill that up completely, and they all learn new friends, and I guess they live for 30 days in a little tub with new people.
Right. But I don't know if should I do that? Because there's there's 500 vitamins in this thing. I can't spread them out all over the house. Then I'm fucking Pink and fucking Pink Floyd in the Wall, the movie.
Well, I mean, if you do a 30-day and you split them up that way, then some of them get to hang out with their friends like through the winter. Oh my God, I've bought into this.
Yeah, you should.
I'm telling you, it's a movie. It's a movie. I'm telling you, it is. I am invested in your vitamins now.
Good. So am I. I don't know what the fuck to do. So I'm weirded out by it. I still take them, but I also, in my brain, I keep going, should I take them out and separate them? But what again, that also speaks to me. Because my initial instinct was they're all pals and buddies and they're friends and that's cool. But now is it because my worldview has changed? And now I think, what if this is a terrible place and they're having horrible vitamin crimes? I don't want that.
Do any of them come out all broken up?
Yes. Occasionally there will be a biotin who comes out and he'll have like a chunk thing as like a half moon. And you know what? Here's what I do. I will tell you this though. If I shake out two vitamins and one's like a half moon and one's a regular vitamin, take them both. Because I figure that somehow he had been injured and he wants to go ahead and fulfill whatever he can. And so I go ahead and take him, so I'll just take extra vitamin that day.
I want to write a paper about this for a medical journal.
Jesus Christ. About me or about the vitamins?
About you and the vitamins.
Fucking ridiculous.
I really do think you should write the screenplay, though. I want to be the voice of one of the vitamins, or are they all male?
Look, man, I don't know. That's the thing is I don't know.
Are they non-binary? So we don't really know?
I don't know. They could be anything. They could be anybody. They could,
well, it's your story, so you get to decide.
And she, hers, and they, thems. They could be whomever. It's an ecosystem. And like I said, when that dude committed suicide, it made me wonder if people were in abusive relationships. If it was a prison, it's all the same sex and they're all being beaten up. Or if, like I said, when a lady will come out and then another guy will come with her, is he just trying to stalk her and make sure she goes back in the jar? That's the thing. I genuinely was like, are any of these vitamins in an abusive relationship? And am I encouraging that by putting them back into the fucking jar together?
So if two come out at once,
Yes, I put them back in.
if you were to have to take one or the other, would you take the one that came out first or the one that came out second if you had to make a Sophie's choice?
Well, I don't have a camera on them, so I can't see. I'm shaking them out. Yeah, the first one obviously is the first one out because he's the one I want to go. And I always figured the second one is the don't go, or the I'm coming with you so you don't have to go through this alone type of thing. So also, am I splitting up a happy couple? So that's another thing to consider. Like if
I thought
shake them
I
out,
made this podcast come down talking about capitalism and and voting, but you have brought this to a new level.
I just don't know. I don't know what to consider. Like I said, they could be together. They could be angry. I don't know. I can't look, and they won't tell me anything. I ask all the time.
Have you interrogated
I
them?
open up the tub and I'm talking inside of it. And nobody says a word. Part of me wants to spill them out like voodoo bones and see if they spell anything. Help. Maybe the vitamins will spell help. And I'm like, I'm onto something here. This works. This is the shit that happens when you're trapped in your fucking house, man. I have no idea. Because I never really thought about it. Because I just thought they were all friends. It's like I told you, I'm cooking fucking breakfast and shit like by myself. And it's an odd thing.
Even if they are all friends and one jumped to his death,
yes,
maybe that's just because he was depressed.
Yeah, I know.
So I wouldn't think that it was abusive necessarily. I would think he just didn't like the vitamin house.
Well, that's the thing. You're trapped in there with but also he could have been shunned. He could have been bullied. Any of those things could be true. And also he could have been depressed. Whatever. Any of that could be true, but it doesn't matter. That's what I'm saying. His very act of committing this vitamin suicide, which is a fucking fantastic name for something, is what opened my eyes to the possibilities. I just assumed everything was fucking, I thought it was just Sunnybrook Farm filled with vitamins. Everything was good. But now we pivot, and what if their world is just as nasty as ours? So I don't know what to do. I still take them. But now when they come out like as a group, I'm just like, all right, which one of you is the fucking cunt?
What was the movie Joe's Cockroach? What was the name of that?
Joe's Apartment.
Joe's Apartment with all
Yeah.
This is kind of what it's reminding me of too. It's just like this weird existential crisis film. So maybe the whole film is about you and your morning quest for humanity or a meaning.
Look, man, everything's about me. We can't get around that. Clearly.
Well, again, I mean, what is it that's making you think this way? It's very compelling to understand why your psyche wants to put some sort of reality and humanity to vitamins anyway.
Well, but I've done that with everything. That's what I'm saying. The bottle caps and all that stuff, even like if you get like a bunch of carrots or a bunch of bananas and one of them starts to get like brown fast, you're like, I got to eat that guy because I couldn't throw him away. He has to be still consumed. You know what I mean? I want the other bananas to look at him like a jerk. He still has a job to do, and that's be banana. He's not trash. Banana. That's it. That's your job, man.
Sure, be banana.
Be banana, buddy.
Don't you just save them and make banana bread then?
Let me ask you something. What if someone said to you, you know what? I don't think you're up to par. I'm going to put you in a deep freeze until I've decided what I want to do with you. And then I'm going to turn you into something you're not.
I honestly just watched that movie on Showtime and it was terrible.
I love banana bread. I do. But the whole process of it, of making a banana into something he's not, is a drag. Like I watched the baking show yesterday, and this dude roasted his bananas and then he squeezed them out like they were fucking frosting in a pastry bag. And I'm like, what the fuck are you? Just cut it up give a banana some dignity, for fuck's sake. You know what I mean? You're roasting it and you're fucking turning it into a pulp and shit like that. Just fucking chop it up and put it in something.
Well, you must hate bananas, Foster.
I don't look, man. No, because they're still, you know what? Because that banana was like, yeah, man, I'll go out. He's already been chopped up, so he's in pain, so burn him up, and who fucking cares anyway? God damn it.
So if it's an exhibition,
look,
it's okay.
Well, they've been trained their entire lives for that. They're told right in banana school. Some of you might be fucking Bananas Foster. Some of you might be in a fucking bread. And they're like, there's no dignity in being in a bread, but Bananas Foster, you go down fire and people like, ooh and ah. It's great. It's like being like a monk who sets himself on fire. You're getting your point across. Fuck yeah, bananas.
You're not in therapy anymore, are you?
Stop. Nobody cares about this nonsense.
I am fascinated by this, and I think we should take a poll.
Sure, we should.
We should take a poll in the group and say, do you think that the vitamins are living in peace?
All right. Well,
Or
yeah.
do you think that they're living in some sort of terrible vitamin prison?
I thought you were taking a banana poll. I'm like, wait a minute.
Well, we can take a banana poll too. I'm not
No. Just a vitamin poll. Just a vitamin
banana poll is also
Sure.
kind of good to me. I like that. Banana poll.
Now, remember, by the way, you're doing the AI thing, right? You're thinking of a phrase from the show and
Yes.
you're turning it into an image. All right, so
It's going to be
track.
banana suicide. You know that.
Well, bananas didn't commit suicide. Vitamin suicide.
Or
Was the
vitamin
one.
suicide.
All right.
Vitamin
Well, all right, because you got to tell me whatever you pick for the AI, because that can't be the name of the show. It has to be different. All right. I have a plan for the name of the show. Jesus.
I don't know.
But again, I'm alone. This is the shit that happens.
Could
you know
be
what I mean?
vitamin prison. I don't know. I don't know yet. I have to go look. I'm going to
Could be vitamin jail.
I'm just going to type some things in and see what it gives me back.
Here's a thing I learned this week as I'm exploring ways to cook and do things. Don't put a whole green pepper in your omelet.
No.
I found this out the hard way, clearly. Otherwise, I wouldn't even bring it up. And I'm not also, my knife skills, I'm just serving me. If you're here, maybe I go the extra mile and I chop them up finely, or I dice them, but I'm just cutting my green pepper into strips. And it wasn't even a green pepper, it was an orange pepper. So
oh, wow.
Orange peppers are delicious. Orange pepper.
No,
red pepper,
I'm
green
just picturing like 3 eggs and a whole pepper.
Well, that was
literally, I mean, the math does not work.
Okay, well, here's what happened. So I put the skillet on and I put some butter in there, right? And I chop up the green pepper or the orange pepper. And then as I'm chopping, because I've been using half. But here's the deal. I had all my produce was gone. It's because I can't,
Yeah.
Going to the store is hard for me. So it costs me money now because I don't have a car to go to the fucking store unless I mooch off a friend. So last time I went to the store, I bought a bunch of fucking cucumbers and celery. Dude, here's the thing. Oh, brace yourselves. You want to have an amazing lunch? Here's a great lunch. Chop up like 4 celery sticks, chop up half a green pepper, chop up an entire tomato, put an entire avocado. Actually a half avocado can work. And then just fucking some tagine. Shake that on tagine salt, the chili lime salt.
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude, you just fucking toss it. It's so refreshing and delicious. It's amazing. It's amazing. I want to eat it every day. And then the avocado gets like creamy and it like kind of blends in like a dressing. It's not really a dressing though. Oh,
Yeah.
It's so good. Yeah. But then I'm using produce also with my eggs. So the first few times I used a half a green pepper. You know what I mean? I just chopped that or half a red pepper,
Yeah.
whatever I had, throw that in the skillet, throw in 3 eggs and then whip it around and make an omelet. Perfect. But or even just a scramble. I don't make an omelet. I'm not fancy. I don't flip. But I wound up, I had all I had left was 1 orange pepper. So I was like, well, fuck, I don't want to use half of this because I was, I said, I'll use all of it. I chop it up and I throw it in the skillet. And then it's like, it's trouble when it's piled on top of one another. You can't make an even layer.
Mhm.
And so it's like, all right, that's a lot. All right, well, it cooks in the butter while you're going ahead and preparing the eggs. So I take 3 eggs, I put them in a bowl, scramble them up, put some salt and pepper in the bowl with them, scramble. And I go over to the skillet and I give that about 6 minutes. I get them a little soft. And then I dump the eggs in. And the eggs, it was almost like the eggs went under the peppers. Like there wasn't
Yes.
even, because there was too many peppers. It was just so much. So I was like, fuck. So I took another egg and I fucking cracked it and I scrambled it up real quick in the bowl and I threw it in there. And it wasn't enough. And now the other eggs, so I'm still moving the eggs around and trying to get them because they're cooking. And I'm like, fuck. So I crack another egg and I scramble it with my fork and I dump it in there. And this is just about, I'm like, well, this is almost good, right? But it's still too much. It's still, because again, there's also liquid in the pepper. So I don't want the eggs to be all fucking sloppy. So then I was like, fuck this. And I cracked 2 more eggs. And I just cracked 2 more eggs and I dumped them in there. And finally that was enough. But now I got a 7-egg omelet I gotta fucking eat. You can't wrap those up and put them in the, leftover eggs are not the thing. That's not it. I was trying to have a nice breakfast and all of a sudden, because I fucked up with the pepper, now I'm in a contest of some sort. I had no idea. I almost thought about this will be on my first TikTok video, eating a 7-egg omelet live on screen because it was fucking a challenge, it appeared. And so I did. It cooked fine. It was like, then I flipped it around and I, made the eggs into whatever and I dump it out. And it was so funny. I dump it in. I start to dump it into the bowl I usually use. I couldn't. I had to dump them back into the pan and get a big bowl out. So now I'm eating eggs out of a mixing bowl like somebody in a fucking Adam Sandler movie, for fuck's sake. And I got a 7-egg full green pepper omelet, yellow pepper, and it was delicious. It was, or an orange pepper. It was an orange pepper. And God, it was great. But by the time, and look, I like eggs. I really like eggs, and I love peppers and eggs. But I didn't have I was out of Eggos, so I had rye toast though, which I usually like more with my eggs anyway. So I made 2 pieces of toast, and then I was just putting the eggs on the toast. And then I had to make 2 more pieces of toast to eat the rest of the omelet. Like I said, it was some sort of competition. So I wanted to have a nice breakfast, and I ate 7 eggs and 4 pieces of fucking rye toast and a whole green pepper. And I wanted a nap. I had just woke up. I wanted a nap. I'm like, I got to go to sleep. This is fucking brutal. But this is the shit that happens when you're alone. How do you people do it? How do you, because I don't have a car. I can't just get, usually I just get in a car and, go get like I said, a fucking taco or a hamburger or something. I'm like, all right, leave the cooking to them. Because they know, I guarantee you, they know how many green peppers go into a fucking omelet. Those people are well aware of what's going on. But I had no fucking clue. I ate it. I ate the whole fucking thing. But at the end of it, I was just like, God damn, dude.
Oh, man.
Yeah, this is what happens, man. You get distracted. Fucking alone, not knowing what to do. It's fucking crazy. I don't know how people do it. How do you handle your business? And then people like, I'll tell you this. The GoFundMe is still up. You've all been very kind. Well, all is a strong word.
Oh no.
I did receive an email, a couple emails from people, which made me laugh actually. Cause they like, one of them was like inquisitive. One of them was like kind of shitty because it was just the way they said it. Someone's like, I saw your GoFundMe. Don't you have a bike? And first of all, fuck you. Yes. Yeah, I have a bike. It's also like an e-bike. I could plug it in and drive it around like a car if I wanted to. But you know what's really difficult to do on an e-bike? Ubering. It is incredibly difficult because as much as I want to have somebody on my shoulders as I'm driving, I've done all of the circus act I could possibly do in eating 7 eggs and 4 pieces of toast. That's the extent of my circus qualifications. I eat like the strong man. That's it. I'm not an acrobat. But, and like I said, a couple people wrote nicely. They're like, hey man, do you still have your bike? Are you still able to get around that way? But there were 2 that were just like, don't you have a bike? Can't you use that?
They were trying to be like, don't you have a bike? You can go to the grocery store. But I don't know if anybody's ever tried to bring groceries home on a 2-wheeler.
Yeah.
I got a 4-wheeler with my motorized, and it's hard enough.
But here's the deal. I don't know if I've ever said this. I don't have a lock. I got the bike. It was a gift. It was amazing and all that stuff. But I never got a lock for it, a chain and a lock. So like, I got to walk it through the store like a 7-year-old kid. You know what I mean? I can't fucking do that. I'm not leaving it outside because some hobo's going to abscond with it. That's going to fucking happen. So I can't take the risk is my point. Yeah. I'm ambulatory. Yes, I can get from here to there if I need to. But like she just said, Carrie, you try to carry home 18 eggs and 4 green peppers and 1 million Persian cucumbers while you're on a damn bike. It can't be done. It can't be done unless you're some fucking trickster.
It can, but I can tell you that as you get older, unless you've been biking, that whole you're barely able to balance yourself on it.
Dude, I'm terrified of the bike alone without having to go get groceries and shit. Just driving around the block scares me just because of cars.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's like riding a horse among dragons. I don't fucking like it.
I saw that episode too.
It's just brutal, man. You're just constantly asking for trouble because they're impatient and weird and they don't give a fuck. Nobody gives a fuck about anybody anymore. So there's nobody, when you're on a bike, when you hear a honk, when it goes, nobody, you don't turn around and nobody's like, hi. Like nobody's waving at you to go, good for you. There's no good for you honks when you're on a fucking bicycle. They just want to remind you that they're there and they could kill you if they wanted. That's all it is. When a guy honks at you in a car behind you when you're on a bike, it might be the most terrifying thing that's ever happened in life because you don't know. It could mean, hey, I'm having a stroke and I'm out of control. Better get out of the fucking way. I mean, I have no clue. You're naked. There's no more metal shell around me. I'm ready to die. Anytime you get on a bike, you better be ready to die. Whether it's going ass over handlebars and hitting your head like Christopher fucking Reeve on a horse, or it's somebody else in a fucking runaway vehicle who has a stroke, or just some guy's having a bad day and he doesn't like the fact that there's a bike lane and he fucking turns in front of you or whatever the fuck, because that happens too. There are people who are angry that people on bikes have to share the road. I mean, in Portland, I hit a guy on a bike once. I was turning right and he drove right into me. I was like, what the fuck? And I wasn't trying to be mean, but it just happened. And look, I've been in a billion car accidents and I'm still here to tell you about it. All it takes is one bike accident, and I am not here to talk to you at all. I am here to drool into a microphone and to make everybody sad. That's all that would happen. And I know that's bad. I love my bike. I want to start riding it. And again, I have a plan. I got a list. I got plans. Once I get the car straightened out, then I can pivot to other things and I can start working and I can go, dude, here's something I'll tell you tomorrow. This is literally true. Tomorrow, although for you, it'll be yesterday when you hear this. I start bartending school tomorrow.
Oh, cool.
I signed up for it. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what it's going to be. I hate booze. I don't want to smell like booze, but I don't fucking care. But also it seems like it's one of those deals that everybody has in their hip pocket when they need money. You know, it's like the Ubering of professions where you're like, I can Uber and drive my car. I'm a bartender. Yeah. You can go anywhere. You're like a mercenary and work wherever the fuck you want. I don't know. I'm sure I'm going to hate it. I know I don't like anything, quite frankly. I'm interested to see what their ice situation is, though. Now that we've talked so much about ice, hold on, when I go there, they might have a crazy ice machine. So tomorrow I'll be going to bartending school, and I don't know. I got no idea what it's going to be like. It's just like I don't even know about seeing people. And also, like, is there any? When I started the show, fucking 14 years ago. All right, let me ask you guys something. Although this is probably an easy answer. When you heard me, comedian Mike Schmidt, coming off of Never Not Funny and a year off and then starting this show and telling you things, did you ever think to yourself, I'll tell you what, in 14 years, this guy's going to be taking an Uber to a bartending school? That's exactly what he's going to do. And Uber hadn't even been invented yet. In fact, I invented Uber on the show, if you'll recall, in year one. So yeah, I don't fucking know, man. We'll see what happens. So that's what I mean. So people have been nice. They write notes, and then the GoFundMe still exists. I think it's the home stretch, because I will tell you this. I went and looked at a couple more cars. And I can't get into this, but a very nice listener, recommended a friend who had a car for sale, and, it was fine when I went and talked to the person and stuff, but it wasn't for me. So I don't want to out anybody and say anything, but people reached out.
It doesn't work. Sometimes it doesn't work. Yeah.
And the person was very kind and very cool. And I actually drove that car, and it was nice, but it just wasn't right. It was too old. Because if I'm getting a car,
you need something newer.
You just kind of do. I mean, especially if I'm going to be Ubering or whatever. And again, so I've been at Carvana. I've been at all these different, I did CarMax. I think I mentioned it's like Tinder for cars, in that if you see one you like, you can pick it out and reserve it, right? Although I don't think you can reserve anybody on Tinder. Hey, I'm going to reserve your pussy. Is that okay for 3 days?
Awesome.
But sometimes the cars are in, like I said, that one was in Florida. Did I mention that on here?
Yeah.
There was one I loved that was in Florida, and I'm like, maybe I'll fly to Florida and I'll drive it home. And because it was $2,000 to ship it. Yeah. And I'm like, and what if you get it? Because again, this is an odd thing, like getting a car that you've never seen. Because I don't know. I talked to a buddy of mine, Evil Dennis, and he was like, I bought 5 vehicles from CarMax. It's amazing. He recommend. That's one of the reasons why I'm kind of taking the plunge here. Yeah. Because I don't know anything about it. I know people enjoy it and people have always mentioned it to me, but to know somebody who's like, I've used it repeatedly and it's been amazing. So that was like the go ahead. So I was like, all right, well, that's cool. I found a couple cars in there that I loved. There were 2 that were gone like instantly, because that's another thing with them. If you see a car you like, you kind of have to jump, because though they have a nationwide inventory, they also have a nationwide clientele. Yep. So if you want to get the jump on it, you got to see something. But that was the thing. I couldn't pull the trigger on spending $2,000 to ship something from Florida, because I didn't know. I don't know. Because if you say you don't like it, it's not like they reimburse you. You know what I mean? And $2,000 seems like a lot of money from Florida, especially when you look at the GoFundMe and where we're at and stuff like that. And I have other money to, I'm trying to, because I don't want to have a gigantic payment too. So I'm trying to put as much down as I possibly can, whatever the fuck. So people have been nice, and the GoFundMe still exists. If you want to go ahead and visit it and throw a little something in there, that's great. I did call around for insurance quotes on certain cars that I liked. and my insurance is going to go up at least $150 a month. In addition to, because that's if I buy something from a dealer too, because you have to carry a certain amount of coverage because it's financed. And I had good coverage on my old car, but it didn't have to be, the Cadillac of coverage, which I have to do if the car's financed, because otherwise I will be crazy fucking boned. And I just, that's not a thing I want to do. So there you go. So I've looked at a couple cars. There's a couple cars I like on CarMax. One, because there's also, if it's in Seattle or somewhere around here, it's cheaper. That's the thing. There's cars I liked in Texas, but that's also $1,100 or $700 and stuff like that. So still kind of in a holding pattern, trying to figure that out, but letting you know that still exists. And yes, I own a fucking bike, and I just can't be that guy. I can't live in a tree and ride a bike everywhere. I want to, certainly. Of course, me. There's nothing I'd like better than to be dirty and fucking smell and live amongst branches and insects and ride a bike everywhere like a fucking granola idiot. But no, I can't do it. I can't be like the guy who lives in the tent outside my fucking house, who still is out there, like even through the rains and shit. Like,
they got nowhere to go.
But then he fucking like disassembled his tent and he made it flat. And then he disappeared for like a week and a half, and then he came back and reset it up, but he left all his stuff there and nobody came and took it or got rid of it, or I don't know, man. What the fuck? It's crazy. Have
nowhere to go.
Yeah. Well, he had somewhere to go for a week and a half. You know where he went? Coachella. I'll bet he fucking went to Coachella. That fucking asshole. And he showed up and they were just like, he's like, hey man, I live here. And they're like, of course you do. Look at you, you fucking horrible stink monster. Get in here. Have a good time. Nice beard. Oh, Christ. They're going to make his beard, they're going to like rope off his beard with police tape because they found an endangered fucking species who lives in it or something. Good Lord. Wasn't that a cartoon? That was on a cartoon, I think, once.
I don't know. I know there was a guy who had, it was when Peter Griffin grew out his beard and had birds living in it.
That's it. But but then they couldn't evict him or whatever, because whatever.
I think
Holy
it was
shit.
Peter Griffin. Yeah. He had the birds and he couldn't shave because they were an endangered species or something. I can't remember exactly.
Right. But now my brain's a hack. I feel terrible that it brought up that premise from a fucking cartoon I saw 8,000 years ago.
You're not a hack.
I don't know, man. You start bringing up old shit like that, you're kind of a hack. I feel terrible. My brain's a hack.
I don't think it is. I think it thought of something it thought was funny.
I don't know. I'm going to go to fucking bartending school. I can't question anything at this fucking point.
Well, I look forward to having you make me a Shirley Temple.
I'm just mad because I can't be in my house now watching like every movie on the planet. I watched, dude. All right. I watched Creed 3. Did you watch Creed 3?
No.
Did you ever see Creed 2?
No.
Have you ever seen Creed?
Maybe.
They're fantastic movies. And Creed 3 is a departure because Stallone's not in this one. It's the first one he's not in. And then he was kind of mad about it. Like there's some anger issues with Sly.
Wait, he has anger issues?
Look, man, that guy's 78. He shouldn't have any anger at anybody. Lived a charmed fucking life. But he was upset that he wasn't in the movie, he wasn't included or whatever. They didn't give him enough of a nod to him. And I can understand that it was his property in the beginning. And I expected going into Creed 3 to miss his to feel his absence, but honestly, it didn't. There was no room for him in this movie. This is the story of Adonis Creed. It's he's now moved on from Rock, and he's like a well-accomplished heavyweight champion. They've moved forward in his career, and he has, he's rich and all this. It's kind of the plot of Rocky 3 to a certain extent.
Okay.
In that he's now rich and established, and then he retires. And then a hungry challenger comes along. But the only difference in this new movie is the hungry challenger is his friend from when they were kids, and he went to jail. And now he's out of jail, and he's kind of like trying to find his way, and he meets Creed. And then Creed feels, and then there's a whole other issue about what happened with the two of them when they were kids and blah, blah, blah. In Jonathan Majors plays the friend. Do you know Jonathan Majors? You familiar with him and his work?
Is he related to Lee Majors?
He is not.
Okay, then I don't know who he is.
But he's, Jonathan Majors is an actor of astonishing talent and a human being of almost undescribable beauty. He is a beautiful man. I don't know what it is about his, first of all, in this movie, he totally took the spike. There is no doubt he's roided out or HGH'd or whatever the fuck. His physique is usually great, but in this movie, it is fucking incredible. He is massive. And his face, he's just an incredible actor. He's so good at what he does. He was Kang in Loki, the series Loki. He shows up in the final episode. He's now the big villain for the next Marvel universe. He's the new Thanos. So he's actually an Ant-Man with Quantumania. Although they fucked that up because he's supposed to be this untouchable villain, and yet he somehow loses a fight to an ant. It's fucking, I don't even want to don't get me started.
Don't get him started.
Marvel's a fucking drag. So, but the thing that's funny is the movie comes out and I see Creed 3. It was fucking incredible and all this stuff. But the problem is he was arrested like 3 weeks ago for domestic abuse. And it was one of those things where it came out and I was just like, not you, dude. I mean, look, it shouldn't be anybody. Okay, I don't want anybody to be involved in a situation like that. It is a terrible thing on for a woman to have to deal with, or a man. If a man is trapped in a situation like that, it's an awful, awful thing. And it's to be hurt by people you love is just intensely terrible. And I can't even imagine if the physical aspect, because we've all had things like that happen in our lives, but maybe not physically, emotionally or otherwise. But physically, I can't even imagine the humiliation that would come on top of everything else. You know what I mean? And I lived in a house where that took place and I saw it firsthand, and it's awful. It's an awful thing. So he gets arrested, and then I'm like, well, fuck this, because I love him. He's a great actor, but like, God damn it, dude, why? And then over the next 2 days, a bunch of people then are emboldened and they go, it's about time people found out about Jonathan Majors because he's a fucking terrible guy. He's been a terrible guy since college. He's been a terrible guy on movies. Like, all of a sudden these people say it, but then it kind of gets like, it doesn't become a huge story. But people on Twitter are like, yeah, we knew him at like Yale or wherever he went. And they were like, it was well known. He was this guy. And then like 3 days later, his lawyer puts out a statement and she's like, yeah, no, this will be all clear. One of those lawyers speak. Everything will be fixed up. Don't worry about it. She's already recanted. Clearly, this is a misunderstanding between two people who have high emotional commitment to one another. A
misunderstanding.
I know. But here was my favorite part in the statement that she said was, the woman had texted to say that she was never wanted him to be arrested. This was all a misunderstanding. Please free him and exonerate him, and all this stuff the lawyer put. And then in the story, it said, the woman allegedly sent the texts immediately after she got out of the hospital. And I thought to myself, wow, yes, the gold standard for my client is innocent. This woman sent texts immediately after she got out of the hospital. Jesus. What the fuck? So it's a fucking shame. And then it was a thing where the story kind of went away. Okay. And because she put out her statement and said the woman had recanted and it kind of laid low. But then yesterday he was dropped by his agency and his manager. And I don't know what that means. I don't know if there's more stuff coming.
It means there's more to the story because they investigated it and went, we can't move forward with him because there's too much.
That particular story, yes, but I'm wondering if there's more, if more stuff is coming.
It is. And, I'm sure it is, because they wouldn't have dropped him if they thought they could weather this storm. And
it's also, I'm speaking in online speak right now. This is not how I feel, but I'm going to address it this way. It's a tricky situation because he's black. He is a black actor of note. He is getting a ton of work. He's being placed into gigantic projects because he has prodigious talent. And also because he's a black man, a lot of the online discourse has turned into, boy, they'll find any way to take a black guy down, won't they? They'll find any way to take the black man out. And this is why I say I have no hope. This is why I say everything is gray, because I think that minorities have been treated in an awful way in this country for a very, very long time, probably since the beginning of time for this country. Conversely, I also think women have been treated terribly in this country for a very, very long time. And also that's probably worldwide, I would say. And in a situation like this, there are no winners, clearly.
No.
But believe women. So you want to believe this woman and this terrible thing that's happened to her. And it must be also frightening to be involved with someone who is so powerful and a public figure that's why she would immediately scramble to take everything back, because she probably also truly loves him and doesn't want anything to happen to him. That whole thing of, hey man, I fell. I understand that, but it's why when people get mad or angry instantly about things, I refuse to participate in that, because you don't know what's coming. You don't know what's happened, and you don't know any of it. So people defending him now, I'm sure they'll double down and triple down on trying to defend him. People who, though it had cast him out, will smugly say, I told you so, even not realizing that there's been damage done on both sides and all sides. And even the woman who was involved in the altercation loves him and doesn't want anything bad to happen to him. It happened again in Texas. There was a basketball coach for the University of Texas. Chris Beard is his name. This is 6 months ago. And they were ranked in the top 5. They're amazing. And then they get a call, a domestic, a DV call to his house. And his wife is like, he attacked me. He bit me, and he punched my legs, and he tore my necklace off my neck or whatever. And she had marks and all of it. So they arrested him, took him to jail. It took, I think, even a week for the fucking, I forget the name of the school board, the chamber of trustees, whatever the fuck, but they kept him as coach, and they were reviewing it. And then finally they were like, look, man, we got to let this guy go. We can't keep him as our coach. But in the time that it's happened to the time they decided to let him go, the wife immediately was like, no, none of this happened the way I said it was. I called the police just because I wanted things to be calmed down. But then they took him away, and I told them they didn't need to do that. Like, it's this thing. She had bite marks on her ankle, I think. She had marks on her neck. But in the heat of the moment, then after it ends, everyone just kind of goes, oh, fuck. Because then you realize what this has done to you and to him and to your life, and he's a public figure. All of those things, they're all swirling around at all times in those. And it also makes me wonder, then when you just hear about when people who aren't famous and go through these situations, a woman trapped in a situation like that, and you have to be brave to come forward no matter what. But with all the maelstrom of media and him losing his job and all of these different things, that has to, increase the pressures on all sides.
When you think about the fact that the president of the United States is being sued right now for sexual assault, people forget that case is still happening.
Yeah.
How many years did it take from the time she even came forward to the time it made it to trial?
Well,
how many?
Are you talking
insane.
Are you talking about Biden or Trump?
I'm talking about Trump.
Oh, okay.
Biden is not currently being sued.
No, but there are accusations out there about him. And they tried to.
There's an accusation about Biden sexually assaulting someone?
I'll find it. I'm pretty sure there was a rape accusation against him from a woman who they fucking totally shouted her down and made her disappear. And so I don't know if she's
I've
right
never
or wrong.
heard that at all.
So
that's interesting. Even when people say, when we look back at, Anita Bryant, and we look back at, Monica, and I'm like, I don't necessarily think that Clinton should have survived that. I really don't. There were a lot of women. I don't stand here and go, he was perfect. I think there's a lot of stuff that's going to come out for a lot of people because behaviors were so not black and white back then.
Well, but even now, everything's not black and white. Everything's gray. It always is.
Everything is black and white. The problem is we like to make it gray because it makes our lives easier. One of my friends right now is going through some really terrible stuff, and she shared some videos to say, I understand that you care about my ex-husband, but please understand he needs help and I can't help him. I'm not in the medical field. And she shared some videos of stuff that was happening, and people were like, take that down immediately. I can't believe you're sharing your dirty laundry and shit like that. And I just go, she's not sharing dirty laundry. She's sharing facts of shit that happened. Yeah. And if you're uncomfortable, it's because we're uncomfortable to talk about what really happens to women in this country.
Well, and to your point about Clinton, there's another thing that makes me laugh. Like I said, that thing about, Fox lies. And the guy said, what about CNN? In that same vein, there will be people who will, Trump is a monster, lock him up, he's terrible, he abused women, he abused Stormy Daniels, he did all these things. And then people will go, oh, what about fucking Bill Clinton? and they expect.
Well, Bill Clinton lost his law license. There were consequences.
But what I'm saying is they expect people to go to fight that point. And instead I'm like, yeah, throw him in jail. I don't care. You're not winning here. Go ahead. If he's a shitbag who assaulted women, throw him in the fucking clink. I don't fucking care. They always think that they're doing something by moving the goalpost and go, well, what about your guy? What about your guy? I don't care. Throw him in fucking jail too. You assault women, you go to fucking jail. That's it. The end. I look at Franklin stepping down, and I'm like, wait. Hold on a second. The black
Al
kid
Franken.
from black kid from Peanuts.
Al Franken. I said Franklin. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
I'm sorry. The black kid from Peanuts did not step down.
I know. Good. Just checking. Go ahead.
Well, no, I look at it and I'm just like, he never should have stepped down, because while what he did was wrong, it was also something that happened how many years ago? He apologized for it, and it will forever be a stain on him. But nobody else stepped down. Nobody else is going to step down. Fucking Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas is not going to step down.
I know.
And there probably won't even be an investigation.
Yes. That's why I'm saying it's all gray. That's why I'm saying read a good book.
But it's not gray. It's black and white. It's just people want to make it gray and want to make excuses. I don't want to make excuses for any of my past behavior. I can just tell you I'm not that person anymore in my deeds and actions.
Look, I got vitamins killing themselves over here. My past behavior is a matter of record. So clearly,
true.
Clearly I have,
your vitamins are out.
Right? I have upset everybody at this point. So yes, I watched Creed 3 and it was amazing and stuff, but also there is still, you can't say it's not there. I can separate art from artist. I know you can't. You don't like doing it. I can. I can separate performances, but I still have a terrible taint to it.
Sure. And I don't think they need to be continually hired until they become continually better.
Yeah. But I can separate art from artist and watch something and just go, oh yeah, this is a terrible, terrible fucking person. But goddamn, that was funny, or this is terrific, or that's a great performance. And I guess the whole point of bringing this up was I can only hope that people will feel that way about this podcast. Because when you hear that I got medicine killing itself over here, there has to be something in my past that is fucking awful. So please separate art from artist as best you can. You guys can get me at Mike at MikeSchmidtComedy.com. You can be my friend at Facebook.com/the40year-old boy. You can follow me at Twitter.com/the40year-old boy. Did you know I'm on Instagram? I am. I'm on Snapchat. What? I'm on TikTok. Who's that guy? It's me. I'm on all of those. Mike40YOB is the name. There's no shame in my game. That's my name. Find me at all of those places: Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok. Oh, I found a new TikTok fascination that I love. Oh my Christ. Oh God. I told you there's this woman named Crazy Raina, or Rain is Crazy, and she's just a female competitive eater. And she'd be like, here's everything I ate at the night market in Taiwan. And she has like a great shelf, like so she's showing that off all the time while she's choking down fucking dumplings. You're like, all right, well, that's fun. She's kind of a very attractive girl who also powers through like piles of food, the biggest burrito in Las Vegas, all that kind of shit. I can't stop watching her. But also I found a new dude, and he just has a camera on all the time. I think in his kitchen, he's a fucking wok cook. He's Chinese, and he's just making fried rice and shit in the wok, like super fast, like bing, 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 and it's incredible to watch. What a skill. God damn. It's like people will and I'll tell you, in sports, to me, hitting a baseball is the hardest thing you can ever do. Taking your little stick and trying to hit a sphere that's coming at you 102 miles an hour, that's incredibly difficult. But you try to make fried rice in 45 fucking seconds. It's fucking, this guy is killing it. He's an athlete. He just is. He's a fucking athlete. He just happens to work in a kitchen. That's his milieu. Incredible to watch. I love him. So I'm on there. I'm on TikTok. No videos of me yet, although I almost ate 7 eggs on camera the other day just to fucking prove a point. But you can find me Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok, Mike40YOB. Check me out there. I am part of the, you got time for plugs? You okay?
I'm okay.
All right. I am part of the, that didn't sound convincing. That didn't sound convincing at all. Tell me you love them. Tell me you love the plugs.
I love your plugs.
Don't jump into the garbage disposal. Don't, please. I have a history of that. I'm at the part of the Misfit Toys co-op. It's me, it's Jen Kirkman, it's Doug Benson, it's Jimmy Pardo, it's Danielle Koenig, it's any other number of shows. I think Paul McGill Martin is in that show, is in that co-op as well. My buddy Paul. Check it out. It's the Misfit Toys shows. Never Not Funny. Doug Loves Movies. No Fun with Jen Kirkman. Holy Shit, It's Dark by Danielle and Christine. And then Mental Illness Happy Hour with our great friend Paul. Check all those shows out there. Fantastic. You guys want to hire me for Cameo? Of course you do. Why wouldn't you do that? I'm a terrific guy on Cameo. What? Stop your nonsense. Did you solve your bullshit with them?
No, they never responded to my email, but they sent me a thing that said if I would drop my price by $150, they're going to put me in the Mother's Day promotion.
Wait a minute.
So I signed up.
Wait, so you won? Like they're negotiating with you now, aren't they?
I don't know.
They want you to drop to $50, and now they're telling you just to knock $150 off.
Yeah. So if you're on Cameo, you can book a Cameo with me for what is it? Normally it's $700, so it would be like $550 for Mother's Day.
Look at that, folks.
It's all ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's so
that is crazy.
Stupid.
Now, again, if you'd like me to send you 35 Mother's Day cameos, you can do just that for the price of what you would for Lily. I'm happy to do it. I'm at Cameo. It's bookcameo.com, or you get the Cameo app on your phone. Go ahead and find me, find Lily. We're both on there to go ahead and shout pleasantries.
Well, I'm there under Boobdini.
Oh, Boobdini.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and look for her there. But yeah, we'll shout pleasantries. We'll shout insults. Whatever you need, go ahead and book me. And it's Mother's Day. Mom wants to hear from me, doesn't she? Come on.
Yes, she does.
Clearly, your mom wants to have me to give her a pep talk about how you turned out. So think of me early and often when it comes to your Mother's Day cameos. Why not go ahead and hook me up? I'd appreciate it very much. Do you know we have sponsors of this show? Clearly, other podcasts. Our great friend Fearful Jesuit does the Paranoid Strain podcast. The Paranoid Strain podcast is out there to be listened to wherever you find your great podcasts dispensed for you. It's him. It's Dana Unicorn. It's amazing and incredible stuff. The lights just went off at my house, so I look weird in the Zoom. But yeah, he's out there doing great work. And I will tell you this, he's got a magnum opus coming up at the end of the month. Here's what I would do now. I would subscribe to the Paranoid Strain podcast with our great friend, Fearful Jesuit. Go ahead and subscribe now. And then prepare yourself in 2 weeks for what I'm going to call a podcasting event. How about that? He and Dana Unicorn have put together, I think it's like a 7-part thing. He contacted me about it. It sounds incredible. Again, something I couldn't possibly do. I get you one show a week and that's it. Enjoy it. Hope you guys dig it. But he's got this, I hesitate to describe it because it almost defies description. It is I think a 7-part story. It's coming. Just know that it's coming. I'm excited to listen to it. You should be too. Subscribe to the Paranoid Strain podcast over there at the iTunes music podcast space. I don't know what they're fucking calling it. It's not a store anymore, I don't think. And then also Spotify, wherever you find your best podcast, you're going to go ahead and find our friend Fearful Jesuit and Danny Unicorn as they bring you the Paranoid Strain podcast. And again, I cannot stress enough, in 2 weeks, they are changing the podcasting game. And I'm you know what I'm going to say? In the parlance of children, I am here for it. That's how kids talk, right? Isn't that how kids talk these days? I am here for it. I hate that phrase. Oh, I'll tell you this. I go to there's a fucking porn site I go to. Let's not get into it, but I go there occasionally, and it posts images and videos, whatever the fuck, but it also has a description of who the person is, right? And it's clearly a Russian thing. Because they'll be like, woman is beautiful, right? It'll be that kind of fucking terrible prose or whatever the fuck. Well, recently, they've adopted the Chat GPT, and they use that to write their descriptions now so they don't sound so overtly borscht. And so they're just like, and if you read them, like I almost want to pull one up now and read it, because it'll be like, hey, fam, check out the mommy milkers on this hot model from Germany. I am here for it as she's showing you her beautiful ass. And like, it's written, look, I'm not buying this chick. You don't have to fucking go crazy. I'm literally, I've got, I got my dick in one hand and my mouse in the other. I'm just trying to get off. You don't need to fucking sell her to me, quite frankly. The photo does it. I even enjoyed kind of the quaintness of your weird Russian prison fucking, thing descriptions in the past. But now it's this, And no, and it's like I hated it, but I can't stop reading them because I want to hate read them as I'm looking. So it even stopped my scrolling. So I guess it worked the way they wanted it to. I spend more time on the site because I read their fucking aggressive chat GPT bullshit describing some poor woman whose phone was hacked. You know what I mean? They're like, hey, look at this beautiful tennis player, right, fam? Oh, fucking awful. So that language just drives me crazy. All right, what was I talking about? Fuck. Sorry. Oh, also, our friend Max, David Hernandez, has the Phlegmcat podcast. That's 4 words, the Phlegmcat podcast. PHLEGM is the spelling on phlegm. You can find that in the iTunes podcast space or Spotify or wherever you find your best podcasts. Doing incredible work, him and Derek and a bunch of different voices and songs and people out there doing amazing things. He's telling you about golf and fishing because he instantly aged. I don't even know how it happened. I haven't talked to him, and all of a sudden he's wearing short pants and roaming around in the rough. This is a dude. You know, he used to go to boxing. Maybe he does still, but now he's like he's a golf dude and he's fishing in an aqueduct. Who goes to an aqueduct? But he does. So there you go. So check out his podcast. He'll tell you about all of those adventures as well as his wacky coterie of characters. The Phlegmcat podcast, available wherever you get your finer podcasts, through Spotify, through the iTunes music space, wherever you want to go ahead and find it. He's there. That's our friend David. I have 2 channels that I've talked about. I have, I have the YouTube channel, which you can go ahead and subscribe to. Go ahead and do that, because there's nothing on there that you haven't seen. There's all podcasts, old type of stuff, also old videos, stand-up. Please know that I have every intention of kind of booting up and possibly getting in there and doing more stuff. I know. And also I have the Twitch channel, which I have not been on in 2 months. I will be back. Here's the date. Save it. Wait, I got to double check the date because I know the. Well, I know the date. I have it in my brain. Monday, May 1st. Monday, May 1st, because I want to do May 1st, but I wasn't sure if that was a Sunday. Monday, May 1st, I will be back on Twitch. I'm not sure what we're going to be playing just yet. I'm still trying to scare up another HDMI cord and figure stuff out. But with the car and all this bullshit, it just doesn't make any sense to me. And also I want it to be a good presentation. I want it to be a good production. And quite frankly, May 1st, it could still be a bad production. Don't yell at me, but I'm just telling you, May 1st, I'm fucking doing it. I'll be back on Twitch. Maybe we'll play the new Resident Evil. I don't know. Maybe we'll do something. Maybe it'll just be me talking. Who the fuck knows? But I'll be on Twitch May 1st. I don't know what time yet because I'm also trying to figure out my new schedule and where I'm going to go and what I'm going to do and all that stuff. But if you go to twitch.tv/the40year-old-boy, that's twitch.tv/the40year-old-boy, and become a follower, you'll always know when I'm on because it'll pop up on your phone. Wouldn't that be grand? Don't you always want me in your phone? Absolutely. And also it's youtube.com/the40year-old-boy. Go ahead and check that out. youtube.com/the40year-old-boy. Those are out there and other podcasts. And I'll just throw it again. The GoFundMe exists. If you want to jump in and throw anything out there, that would be terrific. I'd certainly appreciate it. You know what? All right, I'll tell you this in a second. But please know that the GoFundMe is out there. We're home stretching it. It's set at an arbitrary limit. If it goes over that, that's great. Whatever helps out, whatever helps me. I'm going to put a down payment on a car. I got to get new insurance, paying bills, all that kind of stuff. You're all super amazing and very cool. And I cannot thank you enough for stepping up. You're all great. And I will tell you this, you know how you do that dumb band thing where you're just like what did we say earlier? I forget. Vitamin Jail, I think would be a name for a band, or Suicide Vitamin.
Suicide Vitamin.
I've started doing it on Twitter. If I see a phrase like that and in the construct that I do it is I'll say, great. Now I got to learn guitar so I can start a band called, and
yes.
So I can,
Nice.
Now I got to learn. Yeah. So the first one I did was, Seahorse Vagina Cannon. Because because here's why. Because there was a picture, someone's like, this is how seahorses give birth. And it was a seahorse and it's literally just standing there prominently and it's just shooting babies out of its fucking body, just firing them.
Yeah.
And so in my head, I just went, great. Now I got to learn guitar and start a band so I can name it Seahorse Vagina Cannon. And then people are like, that's the male actually. And I'm like, I don't fucking care. Babies come out of a vagina. You don't get to be different, seahorse. Don't plant a flag and try to change things, motherfucker. But then I found another one, and I usually will use these for like names of my fantasy teams. Like I think I mentioned that my fantasy baseball team is named Fuck That Go Pagoda. Okay. But now I have 3 that I want to use, and I don't have any fantasy teams to name. Max put up a picture of an alligator like trying to get a ball, and I said Naperville Gators are notoriously frugal. And then Jesuit was like, dude, the Naperville Frugal Gators better be the name of a fucking fantasy team. And I'm like, God damn it, it's on the list. But now there was another one on Twitter, and I'm telling you, this is my favorite phrase of all time. This could be a band. This just needs to be on a t-shirt, just the phrase itself. It doesn't have to be for anything. And don't steal it, you fucks, because it's mine forever. But I love it so much. I saw a report of an explosion in China at a certain place, and I read it, and I was like, holy fuck. And I said, great. Now I have to learn guitar so I can name my band Shanghai Battery Factory. How that is a band? That is a fucking wrestling faction. There should be a wrestling faction of 5 mean dudes named the Shanghai Battery Factory. How fucking great is that? God damn, I love that phrase. Right?
Yes.
Seahorse Vagina Cannon and Shanghai Battery Factory. Fuck yes, come to me. I look at me. You know what? I'll put it in my Vitamin screenplay. Thanks, Lily.
Thank you, Mike.
If there's anything I like more than me, it's people who like me. I love me, but if you love me, I love you. 'Cause you know why, we both love me. How great am I? Let's talk about that for a while. And by a while, I mean forever.
Hi, this is me, Michael Ian Black, very famous, and I'm back with an all-new season of Obscure. New book, new location, new ways for me to mansplain literature. This season, I'm reading Wuthering Heights, and what are you reading? Nothing. So join me for laughs and semi-smart conversation. Find Obscure by Michael Ian Black wherever you listen to podcasts, and follow us for new episodes weekly.